$5,000. Cash payment to anyone who can prove that what lying son of a devil Farracon is preaching is consistent with the lessons, supreme wisdom, of Master Fard Muhammad Elijah Muhammad's representation of his teacher Master Fard's teachings. Do you then believe in a part of the book and disbelieve in the other? What then is the reward of such among you as do this but disgrace in the life of this world, and on the day of resurrection they shall be sent back to the most grievous chastisement. And Allah is not heedless of what you do. 86 These are they who buy the life of this world for the hereafter, so their chastisement shall not be lightened, nor shall they be helped.
Assalamu alaikum, sisters and brothers. $5,000. No one stepped up to it yet. $5,000. Win-win situation. And they all know about it. But not one person ever stepped up to challenge anything. Why? They rather keep it silent low because they don't want anybody to know about me. $5,000. All you gotta do is show one verse. Show one verse that verifies what you say Farracon is. Just one verse in the Bible or Quran. You can't. So this is not to try to wake anybody up out here. It's just putting information out there because in a few more days, in literally a few more days, hammer's coming down. They will have no excuse. Those that are with him will have no excuse. Because they don't, that's why I said the Lord will not even speak to them on the day of resurrection. No excuse. I mean, it's so simple. How was you Farracon? Show me a verse in there that verifies the one verse. Oh, well, you weren't there because of the truth? You wasn't there because of the truth? Or you there because you liked him? Because you thought he was cute? You liked the way he talked? That's why you was there? Bye. That's why you was there? So about Son of Perdition says they were given strong delusions by God himself because they had no love for the truth, none. That's why only people that follow Farracon have no love for the truth. That includes demons, because they have demons by definition have no love for truth. Because they evil by nature. According to Master Muhammad, he says they're 100% wicked. That means their seed is 100% wicked. No matter what their seed is, skin tone they have. And Farracon is 100% wicked. He follows the devil. He's going to tell you, oh, well, it doesn't matter who you are, because it doesn't matter who your mother and father is, because God made you in the womb. Really? That's another lie you bought. You heard of biology lately? Show me biology where that's true. The seed comes from the father. And I don't care, you put seed, I don't care ground you put that seed in, it's going to be whatever the seed. If you put an orange seed, I don't care where you put it. It's going to come up oranges, it's not going to come up apple. That's what say Abraham's seed. Make sure you don't get misunderstood. Some people try to translate it as Abraham's descendants. Then that includes everybody then. No, Abraham's seed. And he's seed of the devil. That's how you know Master Muhammad. That's another way you know, because he wasn't just talking out of his mouth. Because if he came and said that there was only one seed in the original man, and you said, well, everybody's Abraham's seed then. He said there was two. Yaakov took the other seed and promoted it. Because otherwise you say, hell, they're the same seed as us. What's the problem? There's a little hints right there to show you, that he knew what he was talking about, because he just said one seed. He said, how you connect that, how you round that circle? square circle rather. Of course, there was two seeds in. The dominant seed and the regressive seed. And he took the regressive seed and took it to its final conclusion. And there of that. There's much more to that. I'm going to get to that science one another day, but not today. I'm going to talk a little bit about it, but from a different direction. But these people do this all the time. They fuel for the fire. They're being part of the book, this and the other. That's what the message of the covenant is. How can they never mention the message of the covenant? They tell Elijah, that's it. There's no matter of him, it's eternally in the nation of Islam. And right there, it says it right there, Elijah. And it says, oh, the message of the covenant suddenly come to his temple. Oh, how can they ever mention him? He's the messenger of the covenant. What comes he the messenger of? So you know it's a conspiracy because you say, well, if he's a messenger of the covenant, then what's the covenant? What's the covenant he's a messenger of? Then you're going to look at the covenant, and the covenant is described at the way of Abraham. Because and see, man, remember they tell you Malachi, but they list that part out. So it's not like they didn't know it was there, because they read it and they skip over that verse. But then when you look at then you go to it, and what's covenant? The covenant is God's word, undiminished, unrelenting, right, undeniable, right, word of God. That's what covenant is. And the covenant, they don't. It's right there when they said the first part. That means they knew it's there. And we got to that one verse, the next verse. I made a covenant that after 40 years. You'll see return to Arabia between the river Euphrates and the river Egypt, which is Arabia. Look at the map. They don't mention it. Being part of the book, this and the other. So they will have nothing to say when that says, Son of Man will set his angels and gather all that offend. He's going to throw their heads in fire. Fuel for fire. It's not going to be a fire that just burns you up. See, they ain't talking about that kind of fire. It's an unquenchable fire. See, it's called slow burn. Their destruction is not and is horrible. It says most grievous chastisement. Then you got this kind of Son of Man. Oh man, where'd you get hold of that clown? Because anybody tell you, Daniel tell you, anybody that gets in the way of this truth, be crushed, broken or crushed, or broken and crushed. Most likely broke and. You just outright crush or get broken, then crushed. But you would ultimately be crushed. There'll be no remnant, ain't nothing left of this, right? Anybody that was resistant in any way to this message. That's why I tell people, don't get involved in this unless you know what you're doing. Because if you're saying stuff and you write everything else, then you, by definition, you're resistant. You say, oh, no, wait, hold it. Degree. You're 10% resistant, 20% resistant, 100% resistant. If you're out there saying things you ain't supposed to be saying and mix stuff up, that means that's a resistance because you're starting the message. So maybe I'm 10%. Well, I didn't mean it. It don't matter. The consequences don't know about it. You didn't mean it. So now you, okay, 10%. So you crush 10% then. There will be a consequence. Why I tell you, don't even mess with one word. This last thing I tell you, don't ever mess with around even one word. Store it anyway. Come on, brothers and sisters.
Section 1, Fundamental Principles of Islam. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. 1. I, Allah, am the best knower. 2. This book, there is no doubt in it, is a guide to those who keep their duty. 3. Who believe in the unseen and keep up prayer and spend out of what we have given them. 4. And who believe in that which has been revealed to thee and that which was revealed before thee, and of the hereafter they are sure.
So, brothers and sisters, they leave you no room, no place to escape. Because here, say, oh well, hey, you got to believe in the Bible and the Quran. You tell you before thee, so you can't say, oh well, I didn't say it because Quran but the Bible. Well, it says Allah the best knower. They leave you no place to hide. No place to hide. It says, Allah the best knower. You got to believe what's revealed to you and before you. Bible and the Quran. So, well, they got bad. They don't say anything about that, even though they are bad translations. But they had the manuscripts there. Manuscripts are not tainted. And you can get transliteral. Jehovah's Witness, they have a transliteral as a so-called New Testament. Even though they put that Jehovah stuff in there, otherwise it's a fine transliteral. Well, wait a minute, I forget. There's another part in it too. They put that name. Well, okay. Yeah, I missed that one. No, you gotta be careful with that one too, because they transliteral, but they put the name of Jesus in there. It's not in the manuscript. It's not in the manuscript. Okay. So you have to go get to get the actual direct manuscript translation to English. You have to go get the Aramaic. They do have that out there. When I look at the Aramaic version, right, you won't find the name Jesus anywhere. Find it. Well, it's not there. And you definitely don't find it in the so-called Old Testament. No matter what translation you get, the name Jesus ain't there. So where did that name come from? But they say there's no name that under the heavens that you could be saved by but the name of Jesus. That's what it says. But where the name come from? I get $1,000, you prove I'm lying. It's not in the manuscripts. It's not there anywhere. So where did they get that name from? The name there is Joshua. They don't want you to know who Joshua is. That's no story. Let's move on, brothers and sisters.
$174. Those who conceal aught of the book that Allah has revealed and take for it a small price, they eat nothing but fire into their bellies, and Allah will not speak to them on the day of resurrection, nor will he purify them, and for them is a painful chastisement. 175. Those are they who buy error for guidance and chastisement for forgiveness. How bold they are to challenge the fire. 176. That is because Allah has revealed the book with truth. And surely those who disagree about the book go far in opposition.
Speaks for itself, brothers and sisters. As they say less. Okay, this is the one that you need. It depends on for this one, brothers and sisters. If you have any idea, you know anything about Elijah Muhammad, you know anything about his truth, it's coming up right now. Here you go. Put your seatbelts on.
I gotta do this. Do you mind? Yes, I'm gonna do something. I don't want to put my brother on the spot. See, this is this. This is something else. Love and faith transcends color. And the reason why we embrace Father Flager as a brother is because we find him on the battlefield of justice, being a true disciple of Jesus. And the last thing I'll say is you'll never call us racist.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because this day that we honor,
yes, sir,
Master Fard Muhammad, if you see an image of him, put his image up.
Yes, sir.
That's the man whose father was a black man and his mother a Caucasian. And how many of us have a parent that's a Caucasian or grandparent? It's not about color. It's about our submission to the will of God. And in that we find common ground and unity.
Yes, sir.
So I'm only one shade lighter than you, so. And Mustafa may be 4 more shades lighter. We a family.
Yes, sir.
Let's stay a family and be a family and love each other as God would have us to love each other. We love you, Father. Happy Savior's Day. Thank you. I had to do that. We love you.
One more time, brother.
4. And I heard other voice out of the heavens saying, Come you out, the people of me, out of her, in order that not you should share together to the sins of her, and out of the plagues of her in order that not you should receive. 5. Because were glued together of her the sins until the heaven, and called to mind the God the unjust acts of her. 6. Give you back to her as also she have back, and double you the double according to the works of her, in the cup to which she mingle you to her double. 7. As many as she glorified herself and lived unreigned in luxury, so much give you to her torment and mourning. Because in the heart of her she is saying that I am sitting queen, and widow not I am, and mourning not I should see. 8. Through this in one day will come the plagues of her, death and mourning and famine, and in fire she will be burned down, because strong Lord the God the having judged her. 9. And they will weep and they will strike themselves upon her the kings of the earth the with her having committed fornication and having lived unreigned in luxury, whenever they may be looking at the smoke of the firing of her. Three. I have trodden the winepress alone, and of the people there was none with me, for I will tread them in mine anger, and trample them in my fury, and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments, and I will stain all my raiment. 4. For the day of vengeance is in mine heart, and the year of my redeemed is come. 5. And I looked, and there was none to help, and I wondered that there was none to uphold, therefore mine own arm brought salvation unto me, and my fury, it upheld me. 6. And I will tread down the people in mine anger, and make them drunk in my fury, and I will bring down their strength to the earth.
Okay, brothers and sisters, to our main topic here. It's about the creation. We're going to get it straight, get it right. The deception is 100%. Deception is 100%. When came and gave Elijah enough to crack the door open. It said he would prepare the way for the one that would blow that door off, blow it away. Right? He would crack the door. If Elijah did. It would be the angel. Blow it. That's why I said, next to the covenant, he'd be the one that purified you. So he'd make, right? Explain everything. Explain it all. So one of the main problems, one of the main issues here, and that most people don't realize it, is the issues about which refers to female. Even the language is messed up because the way the language is set up is that female, in other words, something from the male. Female, woman, lady, lad, lady. That's where lad is a child in Irish. Lady. I guess girl, you get away with girl, but you got to be a child for that one. There's a reason for that. There's some reason, but some of it's part of deception itself. And I don't want to go too much detail, but I'm going to go a little bit because that's what this presentation is about. We have seasons. Now I'm going to show you a little bit about the creation, right? I don't like using that word female. I'd rather go to Arabic But, you don't know Arabic, right? Arabic, I mean, had an issue. Female and male did not like that. But it's the language, and it's in the language. See, all this stuff was. No, this language didn't exist when the Bible was created. This version of the Bible. So this to reinforce Adam's rule. Because in Adam's rule, the female would be in subjection. And there's a lot of reasons for that. Some basic reason I'll probably get into. Right? But we had the female in subjection also. Not to the extent that they did. You see? Because actually, before Adam came along, because see, if you go back and look at historical, our history in Africa, that's another problem right there, because Arabia and Africa is one continent. But they changed it. They call it Arabia separated because they didn't want you to know that's connected to Africa. It's like they used to have you think Egypt was outside of Africa too. It's right there. You see it. Okay, I'm getting sidetracked here. If you go back in time, before Adam, before Prophet Muhammad, actually, for the Quran, right? And well, actually, before I'll just say before Adam. You didn't have this separation, because you see it in the story about Sheba. Remember, Sheba was the one with Solomon, but she was the queen. She ruled her kingdom. This is put back in time. That's why I put it there. Back in time, where all the men was walking around with clubs, and females, they were just bending over making babies. Where did Sheba come from? She was ruler of a powerful kingdom. Powerful kingdom. See? Because there wasn't that distinction between male and female, one being more powerful than another. It was equal. But under Adam's rule, see, we have seasons, and I'm trying to. It's hard to explain this without explaining all the details that goes with it. It's very difficult. I'm not going to do that today. I mean, I've got presentations. If you've been paying attention, then this should be easy to understand what I'm talking about. But we got seasons. Like right now, we're in a season of energy deprivation with less energy. Because the universe is constantly expanding, expanding. But times always change. That's why you need new scriptures all the time to tell you how to deal with this particular season. And the Bible, so-called Bible, right, old sealed Bible, show you how to deal with the season during Adam's season of Adam, which would be probably 6,000 years, but basically focused for the last 500 years or 600 years if you look at it. So during times of deprivation, be less energy, but this be a time of chaos, a time of strength, force, fighting, all kind of stuff. So strength would have the advantage. So at that time, if you understand the creation of male has the strength and the female has the beauty, well, it's time of strength, not time of beauty. In time of beauty, the woman would have the upper hand. That's what it's talking about. I'm going to prove it in a minute. And that's one of the things that has to be straightened out. And that's reinforced. Because why? Well, yeah, same question. Why would God do that? Well, why would he put Adam in charge, somebody making mission shed blood? Because you got to start thinking these things through. Why would he do that then? It's not straightforward unless you know the math behind it. Because in the time of winter, that would be the best to rule. You have a polar bear and a grizzly bear. They're both bears. They're both bears. They're both bears, same DNA, they're both bears. But in the winter, the polar bear, he's got the advantage. And the grizzly bear back there sleeping. In the springtime, the grizzly bear got the advantage. And the polar bear, he probably back to sleeping too. during that time. But they're both equal. It's just in the wintertime, one has the advantage because he's more inclined to winter. So and the same thing. The devils, they have advantage here in the winter season because the winter people. They're cold. Ice cold. Peace. They had advantage. And people in the summer, man, they wouldn't have advantage because, man, it's freezing cold. They got to run to the house and say, man, God, keep me warm. But, you better Smith the Adam, man, because he give you some warmth. He show you how to stay warm and stuff. But their season's over. It's coming to an end. Because things keep changing. So now the winter's spring, so their power's fading. Ours is increasing. But anyway, let's get some basic ideas here. Let's go at. So let's move into this. Let's see it. Evolution. The point I'm trying to make here is not. I'm focusing on the woman. I'm also trying to give you some basic ideas. They understand how things work in the nature of deception. Because right now, they're closing on you, and most of you don't even see it. They're closing on you. I mean, it's so clear right now. Even Stevie Wonder can see it. Ray Charles can see it. He's dead. They close and say that's what they be doing, and it's right there in front of your eyes. And most of you still manage to get braids. Male out there getting braids, spend 2, 4, 5 hours getting braids, watching NFL and that kind of stuff. And you're supposed to be protecting your women. You're supposed to keep your eyes open. Not watch the fucking NFL. When your women over in captivity, the war is not over until the last soldier is dead. And they declared war on us 500 years ago. So if you're collaborating in hell, you got to go with them. We take them out. They declared war on us how you want to look at it, 4,500 years ago. They terrorized our women to no end. Our women suffered more than we did. Constant terror, 24/7. Plus, they had to rape and carry children and all this kind of stuff. And then you went around with fist bumps and say, oh, man, Farracon, I don't want to see that in America. I love America. You're going to pay a price for that, brother, sister? Because here, if you can't protect your woman, what the fuck good are you? Why should you have them? You want to make sure they do that part. You better have that baby. You better take care of that baby. You better fix my food. Well, you better get off your ass and protect us. But see here, look at this. You see the idea of evolution, right? You see it. Now, if you watch it closely, right? See the end result right there? We're part of the evolutionary train. But see, you never thought take this thing through. Because that's their idea, right? You start from a little amoeba or something, and you got more complicated, which is impossible. More complicated, and you keep on until finally, where you are to where we are right now, high state of evolution. But remember, the bear is not, if it's a bear, that means it stopped evolving. So that means we was once a bear, according to evolution. We was all a bear once, and some of us move on. And so the bear is still a bear. So that means they didn't evolve anymore. Some of us was dogs, according to evolution. We all were dogs at once. Then we evolved something else. We was all a fish at once. We evolved something else, right? Kept on. And now the fish are still fish because they couldn't evolve anymore. So they'd be fish for the next trillion years because they're not evolving. So the idea of evolution means the last is the best. The last is what's still evolving. Anything that's not evolving anymore is animal. They ain't going to tell it to you like that. That's why I got 3/5 human in there. They ain't going to tell you that like that because they tell a gorilla that because he don't know what the hell they're talking about. They won't tell you because you one of the problems. You can think. They think too, but you can think, right? But obviously, I don't think you think that well because you ain't thought this one. So by the fact that they closing on you and the fact that they put your hand, you don't see it, that proves that you're an animal. Because what I'm going to tell you is what they're doing, and it was right in front of your face, like you tell a dog, I'm going to put you down. The dog's waving his tail, wagging his ears. And you tell him right to his face. And so the fact that you can't see what they're doing is right in front of your eyes, like the dog, they take him to the veterinarian to put him to sleep, and he is happy and everything else. You don't have no idea what's going on. And the fact that you can't see what they're doing proves to them that you're an animal. You're stupid. Because it's so obvious. See, because this here, evolution, this is what they say. If you thought about this instead of watching NFL, you see they're calling you an animal. Because if you're not white, you stopped evolving. That's why you still black. Because we was all black once, according to them. So the people that are still black, they stop evolving. So they still animals. That's what animal is. You're not evolving anymore. And they kept evolving, so they turned white. So they evolve, so they move on. So what they do with the people that things not evolving? Eat them, or put them in prisons, or put them in zoos. And then they do things that don't evolve anymore. Animal. That's why they put you in slavery. Because hell, you're a better animal than they could use you like they put gorillas in zoo. So they can put you in a fan field. Ain't nobody explain that so-called son of man, Farracon. They never explain this to you because they don't even know it themselves. They're still evolving. They're human. Human means you're still evolving. The fact is, we still black, but we stopped evolving, so we're animal. And according to this here, we'll still be animal next 10 trillion years. We'll still be just like we are, as dumb as we are, stupid as we are, the rest forever. And they're going to evolve to something. Many years from now, they'll be, who knows? And we'll still be just like we are right now. Just like a dog will still be a dog a million years from now. They don't evolve anymore. That's why it's still like they are. Because remember, a dog, we came into existence, what, a billion years ago, according to them? But still a dog. That's they try to clean it up now. But that's what's right here, see? Black, and then eventually you got lighter, and then you got white. But they don't tell you if you skin a gorilla, the gorilla's really white. So they want to maintain this idea, it's a deception. But that's what they're saying, that's what they're thinking. So putting you or exterminating what's going to Gaza, the animals. They may not be the brown, so they didn't evolve anymore either. You got to be Caucasian. Caucasian evolves. They might have. Have you see the light ones? They light us, right? But they're animals. So why y'all getting mad because we killing animals? That's why and that's why he's over here ain't saying anything. They don't care what the rest of the world say because the rest of the world are animals. They took somebody like Donald Trump to come along to go ahead and just be open with it. Because they thought people were human, they would be killing them like they're killing them over there, eradicating them. To them, it's animals. If they do that to them, we're more animal than they are. Because we're on lower level. Look, we're still black. So if they get rid of, they can easily get rid of us. And that's their plan. Scripture says so. It doesn't matter if it's right or wrong, if that's what they're thinking, and they got the power to do it, that's what's right. If you got power, power is right. Power is right. That's what power is. That's why Adam was right. He had power. So he was put in charge. Power is right. All this bullshit about morality and all that kind of shit. Power is right. Greater power overcomes lesser power. Greater pressure overcomes lower pressure. Higher pressure is right. Lower pressure is wrong. So you want to be right, get higher pressure. That's the bottom line of it. But that's what it is right there. That's the root of your danger right now. Because they don't need you anymore. You know, like, you see any horses around too much anymore? You see horses around anymore? They don't need them anymore. They got cars. How many horses you see? Used to be millions of horses. How many horses you think there are now? They're trophies or something. Well, they come automation. They don't need Negro butts anymore. Negro butts. They got robots. The real thing. That's the danger. But that's the danger. It's not going to turn that way. But the point is, that's their thinking. That's how they're going to come at you. And so a lot of you can be lost for lack of knowledge. That's their thinking. And that's why these people like so-called Son of Man and Ben X, all these people like that, they're going to be crushed, totally, unreasonably crushed. It says unprecedented because the people lost for lack of knowledge because they're out there with their dumbasses confusing people, blocking this light. You know, if you understand, if they keep telling you about this figure, oh, geez, read what the Messiah talks. Listen how he talks in the scripture. Then you find what kind of person that person is. Then you sound like somebody will come along and wipe your ass. Oh, you've been a bad boy. Oh, and whoop your booty. Is that's the way he coming across? You don't meet up that person to be in the wrong side of that. You better read again. Read that Bible again, even the Quran. Look how he talks. That gives you an idea of what you're going to be dealing with. If you're on the right side of it, bam, boy, you go, ooh. But if you're on the wrong side of it, and ain't no three sides. You either be with me or against me. You're on the right side or the wrong side. You know, I have no. Let's move on, brothers and sisters. Keep this in mind. This is the idea. I didn't make this idea. It's the result, end result right here. Right here. Then you get lighter and lighter. You get here. These ain't evolving anymore. Million years from now, they still like this here. And you have some of these still like this. The other ones are moving on to something else. Okay. And that's why I say, okay, you start a little thing right here, and then it's evolved to this, then it's evolved to this, evolved to this, evolved this, got more and more complex. That's their idea, because under their idea, the last is the best, and the first the worst. So when the idea, they can say, yeah, well, black people, they were first, because they're the worst. We evolved past them. Yeah, man, we all came from gorillas, yeah, because the gorillas are worse. But we evolved to something else. So they tell you, yeah, black people, y'all could have been, and you're like, oh, that ain't what they telling you. When they tell you that, they're telling you that you're an animal. They evolved past you. You still niggas. And you're going to be niggas forever. And now, this biological, mechanical world they bringing in, AI and everything else, to them, that's part of evolution. In some ways, you can see, well, for them, it will be. That's the whole story altogether, brothers and sisters, because they have to go that way. But in that world, where are you at in that world? They don't need your Popeyes anymore. They don't need Walmart anymore. They don't need your Pep Boys anymore. Kind of jobs that you do. They don't need any of that stuff anymore. So what are they going to do with you? You're over here in their control. They don't need you. They're going to say they're going to just give you food. Is that the history you built with these people? It's closing on you so fast. But you got a God and a high priest. But some of you are not going to be around to take advantage of that. Okay. Now here we go. Now this should be obvious. They give you two things in here in the Bible about females and Genesis. But you got these lies, they confuse it. When it's really clear. You don't need an angel for that. All you need is to tell the truth. Because if you understand it, because you had Adam. You have to say, well, Adam, He made Adam with no mention of Eve at all. They said, oh, he's going to need somebody. Okay, but he didn't change Adam's physiology. He just brought the woman out of his side. So what kind of physiology Adam had then? But there were no women. I mean, he didn't make him for a woman. He made him for Adam to be Adam. How was Adam supposed to reproduce himself? I mean, there was no mention of women. It wasn't even on the program. How long was Adam there before he decided to produce the woman? How long was he there before that? And I said, what's physiology to have? Because once you're women, then you need a new physiology, don't you? You see, nobody asks these questions. Just have faith. You have to have faith. The knowledge is there if you just pay attention to it. And then you got another story there that says, well, let's make man our likeness and our image, male and female. And that's not the same story. It's two different stories there. Because this one, the male and female came together as one. The other one, the male came and then later on, the female came along. But they try to tell you, this old stupid Price guy, he's some kind of priest or something. Or, yeah, man, it's very stupid. That's why I said they're going to grievous chastisement, confusing people. Because the stories don't make no sense. Two different stories there. Okay? So just a little short background here. And it's in the story Elijah gave you too, but I don't know how much Master Muhammad told about it. It talks about 6 trillion years ago, something happened, and it was a language issue, and blew the earth up, and then the moon came into existence, all that kind of stuff. But no, I'm not going that kind of detail tonight. I got to explain it. But the bottom line was, the Quran says, from one being came all. Now Elijah's version was, now I don't know, like I said, he didn't get everything because Muhammad didn't teach him everything because he said he gave him a list of about 1,000 books to read. So if he told him everything, why do you need to read these books? And his lesson itself said he didn't know everything. So I'm not representing Elijah Muhammad. So if you want to go that way. I'm not putting him down. Right? See, he says he prepared a way for the messenger of the covenant. That's another story. Anyway, the bottom line is that the first being, because it says, from one being all life came. So one being, that means he had to reproduce itself. He had to bring life out. So how would it do that? Because the first being, in today's terms, the way we look today, because we look like that, we always had 2 arms, 2 legs, right? But our form changed, right, as we move further in time, because the universe changes, so we have to stay in sync with the universe. Okay, so I'm trying to explain some of that today. But that's the first being of looking at today's standards. That's the first being. Look like that, basically like that. Because it had to how would it produce itself? It had to have a womb and everything to reproduce itself. Okay. They call that, well, I don't want to even use that word, morphodite, but that's not morphodite. But they have some children are born these days. Morphodites means they have both sex. Freak thing, because the other season, and not only that, it usually happens when close family members. See, right now, sometimes you don't even know, because of so-called slavery and everything else, you could be marrying your brother and sister, don't even know it. It has happened because of the way they did things, and no records. You can marry a close relative, don't know it. But that's the result. That's why you have a law that says, do not reproduce with someone very close to you. That had strength and beauty in one being. Strength and beauty in one being. And since everything happened 72 trillion years ago, according to Elijah Muhammad, 6 trillion years, and based on that form there. As the universe expands, less energies, so there's more tension on the beings because they have less energy. So you got to changes. I'm going to show that in a minute. So let's just walk this through. under tension, because like rubber band, under tension. Attention, dissatisfaction. Because the universe expands, you don't have enough energy to maintain that form anymore. Right? So what happens? To relax that, you got to break a piece of that rubber band off, right? This is where evolution really works. Now we take a little piece out of our DNA, because all the animals, all the biological forms have DNA in it. DNA, some portion of our DNA. We got the whole range. We got from A to Z. But that may just have A. We still have A to Z. We just turned off A in us. And A is not separated from us. No, we turn it off in us. We turn the A off. We took care of responsibility for everything, producing oxygen, everything we did as an individual. But now we get a responsibility to do that particular thing to that, and we turn that off. We still, because science will tell you, we got all this DNA, most of it's turned off. You didn't know that, did you? They said most of it we don't use, but we got we said about 99% of the DNA we have we don't use. But we turn it off. Because now we change our form, we turn it off. We still got it, we just turn it off. We can turn it back on, we turn it off, and we get, and that has responsibility. And then the universe keeps expanding. Then what happened? Well, intention again. Why is doing that? Okay. Every time I fix it in that, look, then it does something different. Right? Then what happens? We have something more complicated, a little more complicated, right? Then we relax again. Right? Change it, turn that off. Our form is changing slightly, but I'm not sure on that because it's too complicated. Okay? Then maybe another 1,000 years later, 10,000 years later, whatever, right? And attention again, dissatisfaction. Then bring something more complicated out. Relax again. Now that has responsibility for that. We don't function. We don't handle that function no more. Those beings handle that particular function. Again, that's where it really worked. And now bring fish out. That form. And then relax again. See, the reason why they give it the way they give it to you, because they tell you like this way, that means that we gods, we the gods, everything came from. But the way they tell you that we as animals, they're the gods, because they're evolving. You see the trick? This is where it actually happened. That's consistent with the Bible and the Quran. But they teach you their bullshit in school, and they're telling you, but say no, you're too stupid to understand. I'm not calling us stupid, brothers. I'm not knocking us, because we was made that way. Like holding a balloon underwater. You can't blame the balloon being underwater. Somebody holding it underwater. The problem is, get their foot off, then you get from underwater. As long as their foot there, you're gonna stay. As long as we stay here, we're gonna be stupid and ignorant, because that's where they want us to be. If we start trying to learn, there'll be consequences. So we stupid and ignorant because that's where they want us to be, and we're gonna stay that way as long as they keep us here. That's why we gotta get the hell out of here. So our people are like that because that they want it. Make you get inferior schools and everything else. Remember, there used to be a law you couldn't even read. So keep on going. And then we get to the point where this happens. And we divide into two. Now you got beauty in one and strength in the other. And now that being is more beautiful than the original being because it's all beauty. And that's stronger than the original being because it's all strength. So it came out at the same time. Now I reach back in and pull a female out. We understand this because she just is equal to us. Equal. 5 plus 3 is equal to 6 plus 2. It's different but equal. Now, will you accept that or not? Because we have people who have, well, that's your problem. Because you don't accept it and you buy it because you ain't going to make it to the year, I have to tell you that. That's a mathematical fact. Now, I don't like it. Oh, why I don't like it? Because I'm stupid. I've been taught not to like it. I'm getting over it. I'm getting over it. Because that's what we was taught growing up. They was inferior. We beat them down. How did we beat them down? Did we beat them down with this? Think about it. Did you beat them down with this or you beat them down with this? You see what I'm saying? You can't beat them down with this. That show they all equal. You use this on them. Because they don't have that. And they use this on your ass. That's why you end up dead, castrated. Remember Lorraine Bobbitt? Thin line between love and hate. End up all messed up. Can't understand how you got there. They had to come here. And you gonna tell me that the dumbest man out there is smarter than the smartest woman? You know that ain't true. They can't come at you with this. That's what you come at them with. I'm telling you, and I tell you, and that beauty, you think that beauty is nothing? How many women that went down because of beautiful women? You had no power in that beauty? How many kingdoms was destroyed? People were destroyed. Remember that whole story about David, right? David fell because of a woman. Equal but different. Move on. And this happened six trillion years ago. That's separation. Then the process continues. Attention. Producing other things. It's not totally accurate because, I'm just giving you a general idea. More complex things. More complex. All coming from us. More complex. Introduce Adam. Last one, the most complex, gotta say, a form of us that's called mankind. That's why I refer to them as beasts. They came out of us. Females didn't come out of us. They came together. And I'm going to show you some scriptures that backs it up. Yeah. Oh, man. I'm telling you, boy. I ain't never took crack before, but they crack make me feel even better than I feel when I look at these sisters, boy. I'm hooked, addicted. I'm telling you, man, I look at these sisters. That's the best part of my day. I look at my wife. She said, "Why are you looking at me all the time?" I said, "You want me looking at you?" You talk to, she tell you, "Why are you looking at me all the time?" I love looking at these sisters. I love looking at them. The definition of beauty. Don't you like beauty? Why are you looking at me all the time? I mean, you gonna look at me again? Sisters got warriors, scientists, queens, in all shades like we do. And more cunning they have to be. We deal with strength. And now, once we get home, with 72 trillion years to put this together, that took strength. Some element of beauty. But now, once we put down all our enemies, no need for war anymore, no more strength. Now it's time of beauty. You gonna have a problem with that? Think about it. If Elijah Muhammad said they are heaven, wouldn't you want your heaven to rule? I mean, does that make sense to you? Wouldn't you want your heaven to rule? Wouldn't you want your heaven to be a God? Wouldn't that what you want that to be? Wouldn't you be in submission to your heaven? We'll see, brother and sisters. We'll see. Mm-mm-mm. And this one here, boy, unless you're gonna take a shift from anybody, she ready to kick ass. This right here, she got a plan for you. She's thinking, oh, I got a plan for them. Right? Now watch what Genesis says. Now I'm giving you, it's more complicated. There's complications I'm not going to right now, but I'm just talking just straight what they say, right? Now it's the first day, right? So you can go read on your own, right? We're gonna move fast forward. Okay. Beginning God created heaven and earth, right? Okay. They said on the first day, right? He said certain such thing, right? Let's move. And the second day, right? Now each supposed to be 1,000 years. This was 6,000 years ago. So the sixth day, we're in the last part. The 6,000 years, right? And it's one day. The sixth day would be we're at the end. We're in the last 500 years of sixth day, right? Wouldn't we be? Because each day is two parts. Each one is 2 parts, right? So the first day was 6,000 years ago. So that's it. That from 6,000 started, right? From 6,000 to 5,000. That was one day. From 5,000 to 4,000. 2 days. From 4,000 to 3,000. You understand what I'm saying? So the last one would be from 1,000 to now. 0. 6,000 years ago, be from 1,000, right? Started 1,000 years ago to now. That'd be the last. And then you have 2 parts, 500. So we're in the last parts, we're in the last 500 years of 6,000 year period. Understand? Now I got a presentation to explain all this in detail. We're in the last 500 years of the 6,000 year period. That's the time of Adam. Adam in the last 500 years. And we've been in captivity 40 years. Keep that in mind. So keep on going right here. So it's the second day, third day, fourth day, fifth day, sixth day. Now it's 2 parts. So we're in the last part. So the last 500 years or 6,000 year cycle. Right? Now if you read about the Adam they talk about, it says he came when there was no whatever, but he's the one that was 6,000 years ago. If you read it carefully, because it said there was no water or whatever, I forgot how it said exactly, right? But the point is that when they said there was dark, let the darkness light come out of the darkness, well, they the white that came out of the black. We was all black. It was covered with black. And, well, let's go back quickly and see that first day. And let there be firm, what's that second day? It said, let be light, there be, okay, here. And begin, and darkness was upon the face of deep, and spirit moved the darkness, covered everything. And the light came, they came out of us 6,000 years ago. That's what Muhammad's story by Dr. Yaqub, okay? And that happened 6,000 years ago, okay? So here's 6th day. Now we're the last 500 years of that, right? So let earth bring forth living 6th day and let 6th day earth. Yeah, it's 5th day. It's 6th day. The earth bring forth, so that's the first part of the first 500 years, right? And God, cattle, and God made the beasts, earth, and all this was good. This is the first 500 years. Right. Now, he didn't actually make the animals. That's not what he's talking about here. Right. And then on the second part of the last 5 years, it says, let us make man our image, our likeness. That means the creation, the beginning of this man, he's talking about happened 500 years ago. Right? Let them have dominion over the fish, sea, and over the fowl, over there. They ain't talking about Adam. Because he got to control everything, this one. Right? And every creeping thing that creeps on earth. And God created man in his own image. And this one, they ain't added. I was not creating his image. God made man in his own image and created him male and female. Same time, male and female in his own image. Both of them had the image of God. Equal. Both of them. Let's make man, create man. That's why I say man taught man and woman. Right? Male and female. When the Bible talks about man, that covers both. Male and female. Right? Let's make man's own image. In the image of God created he him. Why I say him? Because we're two parts of the same thing. You say coin, you don't say, well, the right side, the back side of the coin, left side of the coin, you say the coin, right? But it's got two sides to it. So they say him, created him. Male and female, he created them. You understand? So when they refer to man, they talk about both because we're two sides of the same thing. We came together, not afterthought. That proves right there, we're equal right there. And that probably started 1,000 years ago. Because that was raised, you put something under pressure, you want to change coal to diamonds, you got to put it under intense pressure. Intense pressure. That's why I'm told submit to this pressure of Adam. Submit to him. That pressure would take and raise us to godhood from angels. Remember, angels told us submit, they raise us. Remember, we're going to raise to gods. Let's make man his own, right? In our image, raised from angels to gods, male and female. That's why I told submit, don't fight back. Submit to that pressure. It's a transformative force. Okay, let's move on. Now see here? Okay, man created, and God created man's image. Created man's image, and image of God created he him, male and female created he them. And God blessed them, and God said to be fruitful. Right? He said one thing, the other. He said both of them together. Be fruitful, multiply, replenish the earth, replenish it. Why can replenish? After Adam messed it all up, and so do it. Have dominion over every fish, seed, over fowl, air, and everything living that's coming from the earth. Everything living. That means Adam, devils too. Okay? So you can read at your own leisure, brother and sister. That's what it's talking about. Look at here. This is the Adam. And God took the man he put in the garden and to address it, keep and command the man. Remember, he made him of dust. He made him out of his own image, dust. Right? And every tree, whatever, right? And it says, and of every tree, God, you may eat freely. But he had limits. The other one didn't have limits what he could eat. He had limits. Said, don't eat of this. There's much more to a good and evil, but I'm not going to that today, brothers and sisters. Right? See? And the Lord said it's not good that man should be alone. See, how long was he alone? He didn't create him with women in mind. He didn't create him with women in mind. So what kind of anatomy did he have? He didn't create with man and women in mind. See? And that, so then he had to, now we'll make something for him. And then he had to take it out of Adam to do it. That's two different creations there, brothers and sisters. Different. See? He had to put him to sleep to do it. See? And how you know it? Nobody gave the name. Africa is not the name we gave it. China is not the name we gave it. India is not the name we gave it. America. Those are names, the English names. That's where Adam is. He named everything. All the things. You got Africa. That came from the white folks. Because they had the general. Rome had a general called Africanus. That's where the name Africa comes from. China's not what people in China call China. In other places, names Adam gave the world, named everything, and people still call them those things now. That's a little hint right there. Let's move on, brothers and sisters. Okay, let me show you something else here. And I wasn't going to do this, but another separation we separate the gender, then we separate the mind. That's the final one. Because in there you got analytical, check it out, you got analytical side of the brain and spatial side of the brain. Two sides of everything. So I get two genders, but it was in one being. But once you separate it, then one being had all the beauty. I mean, it was more beautiful than the original one. The other was more strong than the original because all strength now. But it doesn't have as much beauty. Or it doesn't have much strength, but it has a lot. Right? 90% beauty, I guess, right? Instead of 50%. It also got 9% strength instead of 50%. And 10% beauty. It all got 10% strength, right? Like that. So the same thing with this here. So you separate it. That's why I said the Lamb, remember, the angel is a spatial book. No one could figure it. Nobody, God, heaven, nobody, heaven. So no one, heaven, earth, anybody could figure it out. But him, that spatial side of the brain. And then no one could, that technical marvel that mass from has, no one could touch it. Technical, analytical side. So now, the spatial, now you have a being that's spatial. He's more spatial than, now before it's 50% spatial, now 9%. 10% analytical. Other ones, 9% technical and 10%. That's what being it is. Space is be, technical said is. See? So we got a war, we got a mental war going, I tell you, a mental war, and we got a physical war going. Who's handling the mental war? The angel. He's gonna destroy us world mentally. Who's gonna destroy us physically? Master Muhammad, that off that wheel that they can't touch. There it is. Maybe you understand, maybe you don't. Okay, where are we at? Okay, I'm going to talk a little bit as I'm close, but since my voice is going. We're running out of time, but ain't they now, brothers and sisters? Even the devil's telling you, it could happen today or tomorrow. Everybody knows it's coming because they're setting the war, setting you up here. They got put military, all this. Trump, you see what Trump is doing? Nobody said this. He's disobeying the Constitution and everything else. Nobody's saying a damn thing because everybody's on board with it. Get rid of your ass. Put military in the city. Why do you think you do it? Most black cities put military there. It's against the Constitution. You don't give a damn. Shutting you down, trying to make you angry. Because right now, if you riot right now, he can shoot you. Now, because he got the military, he command. He wants you to act up. Yeah, go out and ride now. Ain't wait for no police. They're just going to shoot you down. Why is these detention centers all over the place? They don't need for immigrants anymore because they was designed for them to be there until they had their court. They don't do that anymore. They send them down there. So what is building? Why are they building? They built a real big one in Texas. They built another one in Florida. They got open genocide going over there. Means America's the ones the reason they're doing it because they fueled it. They set the stage to do genocide on you. Let's move on, brothers and sisters.
1. Now after the death of Moses the servant of the Lord, it came to pass.
A few of these brothers and sisters.
1. Now after the death of Moses the servant of the Lord, it came to pass, that the Lord spake unto Joshua the son of Nun, Moses' minister, saying, To Moses my servant is dead. Now therefore arise, go over this Jordan, thou, and all this people, unto the land which I do give to them, even to the children of Israel. 3. Every place that the sole of your foot shall tread upon, that have I given unto you, as I said unto Moses. 4. From the wilderness and this Lebanon even unto the great river, the river Euphrates, all the land of the Hittites, and unto the great sea toward the going down of the sun, shall be your coast. 5. There shall not any man be able to stand before thee all the days of thy life, as I was with Moses, so I will be with thee, I will not fail thee, nor forsake thee. 6. Be strong and of a good courage, for unto this people shalt thou divide for an inheritance the land, which I swear unto their fathers to give them. 7. Only be thou strong and very courageous, that thou mayest observe to do according to all the law, which Moses my servant commanded thee, Turn not from it to the right hand or to the left, that thou mayest prosper whithersoever thou goest. 8. This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein, for then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success. 9. Have not I commanded thee? Be strong and of a good courage, be not afraid, neither be thou dismayed, for the Lord thy God is with thee whithersoever thou goest. 16. And they answered Joshua, saying, All that thou commandest us we will do, and whithersoever thou sendest us, we will go. 17. According as we hearkened unto Moses in all things, so will we hearken unto thee, only the Lord thy God be with thee, as he was with Moses. 18. Whosoever he be that doth rebel against thy commandment, and will not hearken unto thy words in all that thou commandest him, he shall be put to death, only be strong and of a good courage.
The fate of those is, let's get rid of them. They resist this message. It says, that's Joshua. They never talk about Joshua. Remember, Joshua's the one that was with Moses, Elijah, when he departed. Aaron took charge. Aaron deceived the people, had them worship golden calf, turned people around, made them a laughing stock for 40-some years, and then Joshua took over. And Joshua took the promised land where Aaron and his people were destroyed. And he said, you will not, I will be with you. I will not fake you, right? Hey, I think cancer at 55, would your ass get blown up? I think that's forsaken. You're pissing shit in the bag. I think that's forsaken. Farracon's cursed. If that's not a curse, tell me what a curse is. You males out there, tell me if 55, have your ass blown up with cancer, and purposely, that's even worse. The synagogue say they did it purposely. They said they put extra radiation pellets in his ass, blew it up. Now he pissing shit in the bag at 55. What happened here, bro? So let me. Oh, okay. Let me just do it again. Tell me that's not a curse. For robbing the nation, he was the one that come after between the messenger covenant and the messenger. Farracon. The pimp. Farracon the pimp. Just watch this, brothers and sisters. See, this is before we came over here. That's where we were. Then what happened? Then God's right stop oppressing us. They're putting force on us. Like putting force, balloon underwater. Being exposed to their oppression. See? It returns into Negro butts, prison, because their forces operate on their nature. That means we're criminal. Our nature, we act according to our nature, we're criminal here. Because we got their laws based on their nature. They want to stay. Why want to stay here under their laws? Then we're criminals. And we act like that's why we got high blood pressure and everything else. Because we got to act like they want us to act. Otherwise, we get deaded. Now we're coming back. See? We're forcing that pressure back on them. Because the only way that we get back is we got to turn that pressure back on them. In other words, if you got a balloon underwater, you're going to stay on the water as long as you keep your foot on it. When that balloon's going to come out of the water, it's got to take and reverse that force. The force you applying, it's got to apply upward force equal to the force applying on it to get back up out of that water. That's why the troops say, do what they done to you. Because for us to get back to our form, first we have to get their foot off our neck, get away from their laws. And then we got to take and turn it back to force on them to revert back to how we were before. That's just mathematics. That's why they do them double than you, because it's actually 2 stages. One stage is to get from out being on the water. The next stage, return back to where you were. It's 2 forces on you. One keeping you down. If you put something on the water, you got to maintain that force, keep it on the water. You can't just put it on the water and just move your foot. You got to keep it there. So now you got to break that force, and then you got to come back out of the water. That's why do double them, and it's done to you. That's why you're going to return back to where he was before. Right? Return back to our true nature. This ain't our nature working Walmart, Amazon, and kissing their ass, and eaters and all that bullshit. Okay, let's move on, brothers and sisters.
Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply.
They want you to know, they talk about you, but they want you to think that they're talking about false Israel. They know they're talking about you here.
Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply, and it come to pass, that, when there falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies, and fight against us, and so get them up out of the land.
That's you they're talking about, not false to you. Do it wisely, that means without you figuring, without you seeing it. Right now, if you open your eyes, you can see it. On to the next one.
They have said, come, and let's wipe them out as a nation, so that the name of Israel will no longer be remembered.
That's their plan for you. It's already in action. Trump is installing it. They're already set up. But you got help coming. And see, this is another part of the deception, because you can't recognize what I just told you unless you know who you are. And so they put up a false vision here, because Elijah Muhammad told you was true seed Abraham, and if they find out, they don't want you to know that, because that means that, oh, you got the power of God behind you, and you're gonna wake up. And they don't want you to wake up. You find yourself in the surrounded by bed, you put them to sleep. You don't want to wake up. You want to do everything to keep them waking up. But they wake up, that's your ass. You know, if we wake up, that's their ass. They set this up. 1948, because remember they was killing these people the day before. They was wiping them out. And then all of a sudden they started loving them. Why? Because they saw Elijah Muhammad says no. They saw people uniting under him. Because they start having a common vision. You have to have a common vision to unite. That's about to happen, brothers and sisters. Because this go down, that means that was a lie to begin with. And you're going to see it, that you choose Abraham, that shit come together, see the great army. And that was they afraid of, because you had come together as a army and fight against them. Why would you fight against them? Because they've been fighting against you. Why would you fight against them? Because you realize they're the enemy. You like Farracon, I tell you the enemy. Stand for you, wicked.
I believe that America can be beautiful. How can America be made beautiful? Now, family, listen. My brother Imam Wadafuddin and I have had disagreement, but his followers and mine have never given each other as much as a bloody nose. Because in spite of our differences, there's a deep love in us. We don't like the things about our nation that is not good, but I don't want to live anywhere else. I want America to be made right. I don't want to see America go the way of Rome and Babylon and Sodom and Gomorrah. But why won't she go that way? If the men of religion and the women of religion keep silent.
See? He's no good lying dog. No good lying dog. See, he's a pimp. See, he's been pimping, that's what I'm talking about women, because he's been pimping the sisters. See, he can't get the so-called males to do anything over there. So he had a sister out doing fundraisers for him. That's why he said, oh, he's so much for the female. He ain't for them. He for them because they the ones that provide his stakes, his money to travel all over the world and that kind of stuff. Messenger never put sisters out on the streets. He put sisters out on the street because they didn't want to make the money for him. Because he's a multimillionaire and so is his son. They don't have any business anywhere. But they get it from his sisters. Because they don't even print their own papers. And they can't get the males to print, selling papers. Plus, they don't even print their own papers. When I was the messenger, I was foreman on midnight foreman, Muhammad Street newspaper. We print our own papers. He got a synagogue and Satan print his papers. So he can't even, he don't have that. He rebuilt the Nation of Islam. Where? He ain't rebuilt a goddamn thing. Got study groups here and there, study groups. I've been to one of study groups, like in a trailer somewhere. It wasn't even only because somebody let him use a trailer at night. It was like a school. You couldn't even sit in the chair so small, you couldn't weigh more than 50 pounds. You'd have to force your way in and they had to cut you out of it. He ain't built a goddamn thing. He ain't built anything. See, he said he wants to stay up, but what the Master Prophet says, is he talking like the Messiah? This would let's say, Master Prophet says it's impossible to reform the devil. He want to reform him.
49. I have come to send fire on the...
He wants to reform him. See? What the Master Prophet say? Look what he says here.
Fire.
They're 100% evil. Oh, remember Father Flavier? He's our brother. He represents Elijah Muhammad. He represents Master Muhammad. That's why I give $5,000. You can prove it. You can't. He's talking like the Messiah. No. He's a pimp. And pimping those sisters.
49. I am come to send fire on the earth, and...
Pimping those sisters. That's what he does. He's a pimp. He ripped the nation off. Him and Wallace ripped the nation off after Elijah Muhammad departed. He ripped off the money was left in believers' names, Nation of Islam name. They went to court and said, no, that money belongs to, that's what Wallace did, who hated his father. That belongs to my father. They got their hands on that money. His family. Farracon got him a little piece, not much. Ishmael's mother, they took a hit off. Everybody wouldn't hear because they were scared the believers won't get him. He was hiding out in Mexico. That's where Ishmael was hiding out. Why was he hiding out in Mexico? They ripped everything. That's why he's cursed. He robbed the nation, Farracon. And then he went back, tried to get on stage and shake his ass at Calypso. My master, nah, Louis. No, I can't get you back up there, Louis, because you've been saying bad things about me, Louis. So he couldn't get on stage, and that's when Kushmir came, who was a Wallace follower. They couldn't make any money with Wallace. They said, well, let's go see if we can get Farracon back here. That was the whole story. So he said, hey, you come back, you can rip off the nation, you live off them. And that's what he's been doing. Multi-millionaire. He ain't getting it from the males because they ain't producing any damn thing. He's pimping the sisters. They ones out there doing all stuff for him. Out there doing fun. I know I see him do it. I do a fundraiser all the time, raising money for him. He's pimping the sisters because he's no good goddamn punk. That's why he got castrated. Pissing the shit in the bag. That's a curse. That's God's protection. I don't want that God. Keep that God away from me. That's the kind of protection that he offers. Plus, you said it was purposely. They say purposely. They purposely bust your ass, blow your ass up. So you ain't getting, you're not being protected. Remember I just read you a few minutes ago about Son of Man? He said, you don't have to worry about nothing. You protected. I got your back. Play it again. Play it again. I'm going to close, brothers and sisters. That sounds like what happened to Farracon. Right now, he's incontinent. He can barely talk. Pissing shit in a bag. And he's a pimp. Pimping off the sisters. And the thing is, he don't care about sisters anyway. I know you can't care about sisters. Because they raped these sisters for hundreds of years. Raped them, pissed in their mouths, and all, all kinds of things you can't imagine. They took you surgery on them just to see how, because they had anesthesia. They would tie them down and cut them open, see what's inside. And the sister howling, screaming, and this motherfucker talking about, forgive him? Forgive him? Yeah, we're going to forgive you. Forgive him? Hundreds of years of doing that to our females. And you know, I forgive him? Huh? How do we see that happen to America? I'm not going to pay that. Because you're a goddamn demon. Your father's a goddamn devil. Forgive him. I ain't getting a goddamn thing. And you get a command. It said, doing them, devil has done you. You got to set a command, it's not a suggestion. This place number closed, brothers and sisters. Yeah, I got to. Oh, boy, I should have did it a different way. Get back there, but well. I went this far, so I might as well finish. And listen to what God says to the Messiah. That sounds like he's talking to Farracon. Here we go.
One. Now after the death of Moses the servant of the Lord it came to pass, that the Lord spake unto Joshua the son of Nun, Moses' minister, saying, To Moses my servant is dead, now therefore arise, go over this Jordan, thou, and all this people, unto the land which I do give to them, even to the children of Israel. 3. Every place that the sole of your foot shall tread upon, that have I given unto you, as I said unto Moses. 4. From the wilderness and this Lebanon even unto the great river, the river Euphrates, all the land of the Hittites, and unto the great sea toward the going down of the sun, shall be your coast. 5. There shall not any man be able to stand before thee all the days of thy life, as I was with Moses, so I will be with thee, I will not fail thee, nor forsake thee. 6. Be strong and of a good courage, for unto this people shalt thou divide for an inheritance the land, which I swear unto their fathers to give them. 7. Only be thou strong and very courageous, that thou mayest observe to do according to all the law, which Moses my servant commanded thee, turn not from it to the right hand or to the left, that thou mayest prosper whithersoever thou goest. 8. This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein, for then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success. 9. Have not I commanded thee? Be strong and of a good courage, be not afraid, neither be thou dismayed, for the Lord thy God is with thee whithersoever thou goest. 16. And they answered Joshua, saying, All that thou commandest us we will do, and whithersoever thou sendest us, we will go. 17. According as we hearkened unto Moses in all things, so will we hearken unto thee, only the Lord thy God be with thee, as he was with Moses. 18. Whosoever he be that doth rebel against thy commandment, and will not hearken unto thy words in all that thou commandest him, he shall be put to death, only be strong and of a good courage.
Does that sound like Farracon? Why I never talk about Joshua? Because he's a messenger of the covenant. You never talk about him at all. You never heard him talk about Joshua. He's a messenger of the covenant. That's the name you find in the manuscripts. You don't find the name Jesus, you find Joshua, the Messiah. Go check the manuscripts. I get $1,000 if I'm wrong. Look in the manuscripts. You won't find the name Jesus anywhere. Find the name Joshua. They don't want you to know who Joshua is, because Joshua would make everything happen, come to focus, because Joshua is the one that would come to suddenly Elijah's temple. He was the one that take people home after Aaron messed up everything. He's the messenger of the covenant. We'll take you home like they said. But Pharaoh said we ain't going nowhere, so they calling God a liar. Calling Elijah Muhammad a liar, because Elijah Muhammad said you be fools to stay here, we want to stay here. Let's move on, brothers and them close. Okay, I'm gonna let it go, brothers and sisters. I'm gonna play the rest of this out. Said Farracon's a pimp. He's pimping his sisters. He's a multimillionaire, got rid of sisters because he's not producing a damn thing, and the males ain't producing anything. Got sisters out there pimping him. He's a pimp. He's a coward, a thief and a liar. No good. Find me one scripture that says otherwise. Tell me one scripture there that showed that said $5,000 if you can show me just one verse in it, Bible or Quran, that says he's the Messiah and all that stuff you claim he is, that he claims he's supposed to be. That's all I'm thinking about, sisters.
We have a lot of that going on, but we're taking care of our farmers. We can't let our farmers not have anybody. These are these people that you can't replace them very easily. People that live in the inner city are not doing that work. They're just not doing that work, and they've tried. We've tried. Everybody tried. They don't do it. These people do it naturally. I said, what happens if they get it to a farmer the other day? What happens if they get a bad back? He said, they don't get a bad back, sir, because if they get a bad back, they die. I said, that's interesting, isn't it?
Well, you heard that. Donald Trump is a believer in eugenics. He believes that white people are the superior race. And inner city is code for black people. And he believes black people cannot now work on the farms. I guess they're not good enough for that. So Hispanic people can do it because they have the backs for it. This is what this man is saying out loud in interviews. He is a racist. It's been proven time and time again. The man had Mein Kampf on his bedside table that he would read at night. Enough to let you know where he stands on that. Just more outrageous, racist things from Donald Trump. They want to arrest those who can do the farm work, well, until their backs give out. And then he'll probably ship them to El Salvador or some other country. Just more vile statements from the president and let you know where he stands.
But so notice when they were arresting people for praying outside of abortion clinics? I mean, I do think the UK, and I say this as, you know, someone who is half English, I think it's like reached, or it is quickly reaching a point where democratic reforms are going to be pretty tough because of the demographic change. And that, of course, the point of importing all these people is to overwhelm the people who live there who disapprove of the program. So you don't have to care what they think because you just bring in new people and their will becomes like all that matters. And so I don't think you're going to fix these things through elections at some point, probably pretty soon. And I just worry a place like the UK, Canada is another, a bunch of different countries in the West are at the point where they're literally revolutionary. They are poised for revolution. And as someone who really doesn't support revolution and hates violence and hates civil war above all, I'm worried about that. I mean, I don't see how this is fixed. Starmer, who's, you know, he's just an instrument of larger forces, but he's a poisonous character, obviously, who's really hurt your country. He's in there for, 4 more years? And so you wonder, like, people are going to start to get really radical in a scary way. Like, I think this is going to happen. And the people in charge don't seem to care.
Well, you're already seeing it. You are seeing the anger beginning to manifest itself. And I completely understand the anger. I don't, like you, I abhor any form of violence. But I do understand the anger when you have, you know, Keir Starmer campaigned on, I'm going to smash the gangs that allow these little boats to come over the channel, delivering tens of thousands of people illegally into the country. And they then get put into these so-called asylum hotels where they're given a pretty good lifestyle, certainly a far better lifestyle than many people really struggling at the moment in the UK. And of course, far from smashing the gangs, it turned out yesterday that he's smashing new records for the number of people coming in illegally on the boats. Of course. It's out of control. And the British public are reaching a point of saying, we are done with people coming in illegally and being treated better in a more comfortable and more luxurious manner than we treat our own people.
Well, the whole point is to humiliate and degrade the indigenous population of the British Isles, the white population. I mean, that's the whole point. And are they really going to do something about it? What would that be exactly?
Public are reaching a point of saying, we are done with people coming in illegally and being treated better in a more comfortable and more luxurious manner than we treat our own people.
Well, the whole point is to humiliate and degrade the indigenous population of the British Isles, the white population. I mean, that's the whole point. And are they really going to do something about it? What would that be exactly? You'd really have to force a lot of people to go back to their countries of origin, millions of people, and you need to do it really soon. And are they actually willing to do that? I don't know, but these are existential questions that we have been browbeat into ignoring for decades. But the question is, like, is Ireland Ireland? If it's majority non-Irish, oh, shut up, they're Irish. No, they're actually not Irish. Same with the UK, same with England, Scotland, Wales. Like, it's all changing so fast. Nothing like this has ever happened in all of history, except when, say, the Mongols swept across the steppe and raped everybody. Like, that was true demographic change on this scale. But even that wasn't as profound as what we're seeing in every white country around the world. I would say the West, but Australia and New Zealand also. So, like, what is that? Now, my brain is not big enough to understand what that is. I have a lot of theories about it, but I don't know if they're true. All I know is what the numbers are, and that's real, and no one feels that he can say it. Everyone's like, oh, well, if that were happening in China or India or Malaysia or Senegal, it doesn't matter. You'd be like, what the hell is that? Like, the population's totally different. Look at graduation. Pick, King's College Law School, and look at the graduation picture for the last 30 years. Who's in it? Just, like, let your eyes tell you the truth for once. Like, this is a total change in population. Is it better? Is it worse? Can't have that conversation. Who's pushing this? Does the population want it? The population clearly doesn't want it. There's no polling that's meaningful on the subject. I mean, there's no referendum on it. You don't get to decide. You've got no voice in it, other than you get to go to jail if you complain loudly enough about it. What is this? I think it's the biggest and darkest thing that has happened in the last 1,000 years, for sure. And I think it's leading somewhere really, really bad. It's not happening by accident, that's obvious, because it's only happening in white countries.
I mean, I think that...
Oh, shut up, white supremacist. Well, in fact, I'm not a white supremacist.
Well,
I'm just noticing what the hell's going on.
I think most people I've spoken to about this in the UK most people have always viewed the UK to be a very tolerant, multicultural, cosmopolitan place to live. That's why so many people want to come here. And people have no problem with that. And it's been very successful for a long period of time.
But it's multicultural? What does that mean?
We have a lot of different people from different countries, different cultures, and it's always worked historically.
So is Sharia law in a multicultural country, is Sharia law? What does that mean?
We have a lot of different people from different countries, different cultures, and it's always worked historically.
So is Sharia law in a multicultural country, is Sharia law every bit as valid as English common?
No, people don't want Sharia law here. No.
A lot of people do. Wait, hold on. I don't know what you mean. Multiculturalism itself is a lie designed to subvert a society. No, a society has a culture. You can argue about what it is or ought to be. It's not necessarily the same as race. It's connected to race, but it's not the same. People from different races can buy into your culture. That was kind of the beauty of the West. But a multicultural society is not sustainable. There's never been such a thing.
Your society is
one culture will dominate.
Hang on, Tucker. Surely the United States of America, given the very way it was created, is the epitome of a multicultural society. And my point I was going to make to you was...
It's absolutely not. No. It's a multiracial society.
Yeah.
Though it was not actually a multiracial society up until pretty recent. It was just like 90% white for most of its existence, but whatever. But you did have different peoples, you had different religions. That was all totally fine, but there was one culture, as American culture. There's no such thing as a multicultural society. It's not sustainable. One culture will overwhelm the other. Again, it's not the same as race. It's not identical to race. It's connected, but it's not the same. But multiculturalism is by definition insane. No, it's never happened. It never will happen. One culture will predominate. It will impose its values on everybody else. I mean, the gay thing, which was not a thing 40 years ago, gay was a slur, all of a sudden becomes multicultural there. There's one culture, and it's required. And that's true in every society because a culture is a commonly agreed upon set of values, which in their firmest form are called laws.
But those values can evolve.
This is true everywhere.
But those values can evolve.
Of course they evolve, but there's only one set of them. It's not multicultural. There's one set. You worship one God in every society. Sorry.
But your country's values were established by the United States Constitution, and that's had, 26, 27 amendments? Right. So your own values, as determined by the founding fathers, they have evolved and been changed to accommodate changing times.
There's no doubt. Look, I'm not even arguing against change. That's natural. It's natural that people's views evolve.
So the culture changes.
Once you start rejecting the laws of nature, then you're doomed. But let me just say, no, of course, societies change. I get it. All I'm saying, I'm making a very discrete, specific point, which is multiculturalism as an idea is laughably stupid. It has never worked. We never had it anywhere, and it never will exist because it's contrary to human nature. One culture, one way of looking at things, one worldview will predominate, and it will punish all who deviate from it. That is the nature of societies. So if you're telling me it's
determined by the founding fathers, they have evolved and been changed to accommodate changing times.
There's no doubt. Look, I'm not even arguing against change. That's natural. It's natural that people's views evolve.
So those values can evolve.
There's one culture, and it's required. And that's true in every society because a culture is a commonly agreed upon set of values, which in their firmest form are called laws.
But those values can evolve.
This is true everywhere.
But those values can evolve.
Of course they evolve, but there's only one set of them. It's not multicultural. There's one set. You worship one God in every society. Sorry.
But your country's values were established by the United States Constitution, and that's had, 26, 27 amendments? Right. So your own values, as determined by the founding fathers, they have evolved and been changed to accommodate changing times.
There's no doubt. Look, I'm not even arguing against change. Natural that people's views evolve.
So the culture changes.
Once you start rejecting the laws of nature, then you're doomed. But let me just say, no, of course, societies change. I get it. All I'm saying, I'm making a very discrete, specific point, which is multiculturalism as an idea is laughably stupid. It has never worked. We never had it anywhere, and it never will exist because it's contrary to human nature. One culture, one way of looking at things, one worldview will predominate, and it will punish all who deviate from it. that is the nature of societies. So if you're telling me it's multicultural, we can all live and like have radically different values, that's just not true. It's never been true. It never will be true. So you're having one culture, one worldview predominate over another and dominate and suppress all dissent. Like, that's just what it is, dude.
But
Let's be honest.
I would point to the United States of America and the United Kingdom as two shining examples, albeit not completely without their flaws, but shining examples of places that are deemed by the rest of the certainly feel that about my country.
Well, I certainly think that inherent in Christianity is the notion of tolerance, and that draws from a core Christian concept, which is free will. You cannot force someone to convert. There's never been conversion by the sword in Christianity. People decide to believe in it. And so that is central to the religion, therefore it's been central to the society. Western civilization is Christian civilization. And so we call that tolerance. It's a respect for your inherent God-given right to make a choice about what you believe. Okay, so of course, that's always been a feature. My only point is, a society has a commonly agreed upon set of beliefs, rules, and laws that are the definition of the society itself. That's what a society is. So you can't have competing. You can't have, gay world and Sharia world living co-equally in a society. That does not happen. It will never happen. You have to pick one. Are we the Sharia society? Are we the party time gay rights society? Like, which one? And you can't face that reality. So you're just sort of snoozing along until the inevitable point where you're going to wake up and be like, my values have no bearing on what our society is anymore, because we've been invaded by other people with a totally different worldview, and they're now in charge. And that day is coming very soon for your country, and maybe it'll improve it. I don't think the UK could be a lot worse than it already is. It's this kind of disgusting, sad, self-hating, suicidal island that was once great. It kills me to see it as a half English person, but that day is coming. It will change. You will either decide to be Western or Eastern. That's a choice that we're all going to face. I don't want to face that choice, but it's being foisted upon us by the architect. That's a choice that we're all going to face. Suicidal island that was once great. It kills me to see it as a half English. That day is coming. It will change. You will either decide to be Western or Eastern. That's a choice that we're all going to face. I don't want to face that choice, but it's being foisted upon us by the architects of mass migration. Sorry.
I would question your characterization as my country as a sad, disgusting, what's the rest of it, suicidal nation. I feel none of those things. I feel very happy to be in the United Kingdom, and I feel that there are lots of very happy.
Our system, the Western system, which is very distinct from the Eastern system, very distinct, and it's distinct on this one precise point, we believe and have always believed since this country was founded, since your country became, not a pure monarchy, but even when it was a pure monarchy, the belief in the West, because of Christianity, was the worst thing you can do is punish the innocent. That's the worst thing you can do. That's worse than not punishing the guilty. And we often said that to each other. We no longer say that because there is a pretty concerted effort to blur the meaning of these terms. But I'm not going to be deterred from defining words precisely. Terror is murdering people, killing people, punishing people who committed no crime. Period.
So when the Israeli government says it has repeatedly that even though over 20,000 completely innocent children are believed to have died in their response to what Hamas did on October the 7th at the hands of the IDF, there are many on the pro-Palestinian side who say that Israel is behaving like terrorists too in the way that they have gone about conducting this war. Would you go as far as to say that?
One of the things that I really object to now is this relentless focus on Israel, which, by the way, is a foreign country that I have nothing to do with.
We've done this before. Now, maybe today things are different, and we will end up living in a nation that is sharply divided. and may ultimately produce something else. But I'm an American. I love my country. I want to see it stay together. I'm interested in social cohesion, which means that I think our laws, customs, and culture have to be dominant. We can accept some diversity on the edges, but not fundamental division. I think we're in a state of fundamental division. So when I bring up Sharia law, I've sat in many discussions with many people that said, well, I don't care what people look like, but I do care about Sharia law, and I don't want that practiced anywhere near my family or in my country. And that's something you should be aware of. So the notion that someone can come here and say, well, that's part of my religion and we're going to abide by Sharia law, they're going to find serious resistance and opposition in the country.
And as I clarified,
It's because it matters. It's this thing we call societal cohesion. Nations do not exist on their own. They have a core population. Our core population from the very beginning was always at least 80% European and Christian and about 15 to 20% African. But when you start bringing in huge numbers, millions, who are fundamentally different from the core population, you are going to get violence, anger, and conflict. How many times have you heard people say, if you bring people in from the developing world, what do you get? The developing world. And now we've got that. You can't bring in hundreds of thousands of people from Somalia, plant them, of all places, in Minnesota, and then be shocked that, no, they're not Americans. They're not really interested in being Americans. They're foreigners living on American soil. Nobody wants to say that publicly. If you do, oh, well, you're a racist. Well, you know, the world is full of racists. The real war that's going to decide our fate is not going to be fought anywhere overseas. It's going to be fought right here inside the United States. Are we going to survive as a republic, as an English-speaking republic that rests on the foundations of Western civilization? Or are we going to become something else?
One point that is
The Constitution was completed in 1789. I think we had 5 million people living in the 13 British colonies. We were 90% white, that is excluding the Africans that were in the country who had been brought here as slaves. But we were 90% white. We were 90% Protestant. And this may be hard for you to believe, but the people that wrote that were trying to protect all of the Protestant sects from a state church on the model of the Church of England and the Roman Catholic Church. That's one of the reasons it was almost 100 years or more after that before people began to finally accept Catholicism as a religion, because it was viewed as political power. My point to you is the Constitution is outdated. The way we are governed is outdated. It has to be re-examined. Nobody in 1789 imagined that anybody would come to the United States except another lunatic, religious fanatical Protestant who hated the Church of England. That's what people feared. That's what they thought of. The Constitution that we have does many good things, but I would argue that the Bill of Rights is ultimately more important. The Bill of Rights is vital and essential, and that needs to be defended. But the Constitution and the way we govern and the things that we're doing, it's out of date. It doesn't fit our needs. And that's back to my comment on something given has no value. You have to earn it. And we haven't made anybody earn their place in this country. I'm talking about people like me that have been here forever. My first ancestor stepped off the boat in 1681. So we've got to get back to some notion of national service, because national service promotes national integration. It addresses some of these problems that you're discussing. Now, I know that you may not want to conform and may not want to be as I am, but I'm an American and nobody questions that. Nobody ever will. If you don't want to stand out and be questioned, then I suggest that you change your appearance, because I don't think it's life or death for you to wear what you wear.
I think this conversation,
it's not fine, because it's leading to violence that could have otherwise been avoided. You see, every great nation, every large nation can always accept some number of people into its ranks that are different from them. It's always been the case. But if you suddenly import millions, which is what's happened here and happened in Europe, then you threaten the core gene pool. What I'm trying to tell you is there's a problem. And we can all pretend that there isn't, and you can insist there isn't, but that's the view. And I think it's incumbent upon all of us to address it truthfully and openly. Stop pretending it's not a problem. It's a problem.
I mean, what's also a problem is white supremacy, and that's
no, because of you're saying you're different, you're going to remain different, and you don't think that if that's not compatible with being an American, then the hell with it. That's what you're going to do.
Well, then what do you make then of, white American people who convert, let's say, to Islam and choose to cover? Are they not American anymore?
Listen, if they want to do that, that's obviously their business. I don't know how many are out there that do that. I think again, it's ill-advised. I think you have to hold the society together. There has to be an agreement on certain things, customs, culture, way of life. And unfortunately, if you're going to practice rigidly a brand of Islam that demands certain things, and this is why I asked right off the bat, do you support Sharia law?
I'm a Muslim. What being a Muslim means is I follow the guidelines of my religion, which is a peaceful.
Does your religion dictate to you Sharia law?
My religion dictates to me to be a good human being, to be good to my neighbors, to
that the most powerful force in today's Republican Party is represented by what Charlie Kirk said. It is this drive to make America a white Christian nation. I got to tell you, this is what they say privately. This is now what they say publicly. This is what Charlie Kirk said publicly.
And Joe, again, one of the reasons I wanted to have you on, because you know these people very, very well. Yeah. You said it yourself. You were one of the strongest voices. You were one of the folks who understood the incendiary language when you were in Congress, when you had your radio show, and how people loved when you did it. And then when you chose to apologize for that and turn away from it, oh my God, they literally have just tried to destroy you because of that.
Yeah, again, you know the deal, Roland, right? I came out publicly against Trump 7 years. For 7 years, I put up with death threats on a regular basis. Nobody is welcome in that party unless you bow down to what this force is, this MAGA force. And again, look, there have been some people on the left who've celebrated Charlie Kirk's murder. Shame on them, be better people. But this is much worse, Roland, what my former friends are doing on the right, because they are turning this into a holy war. When you say we declare war on the left because of what some 22-year-old young guy did in Utah, and then you declare war on the whole left, that's a lot worse than celebrating Charlie Kirk's murder, because that's dishonest, but that's also inciting hate and violence. And Roland, look, Trump's an idiot. So yeah, Trump says the left, the problem in the country is the left. J.D. Vance is not an idiot. What did J.D. Vance say today, right? He was subbing for Charlie Kirk on his radio show, and he spent the entire show going after the left, going after them, they, them. Man, Democrats need to wake up, Roland. This is a really serious deal by my former colleagues. The stuff that I hear privately from them right now, Roland, for the last 5 days, I mean, they want to go to war. This is a holy war.
Oh, it absolutely is, and what really jumps out at me on this very thing here, Joe, and I've been saying this. I played the speech 2 weeks ago that mainstream media just ignored of Missouri Senator Eric Schmidt, who gave a speech at NatCon, Peter Thiel's group, where he literally gave a white nationalist speech, where he said our ancestors fought for this country to be ours and no one else. He was talking about white people. He was basically saying if you are Black, Latino, Asian American, or even Native American, America is not for you. And folks just ignored it. And so people need to understand, again, what they're saying, why they're saying it. And yes, there are many evangelicals, any very conservative white Christians who are pushing this as well. And you nailed it. They want a holy war. They want a race war. They want this to be a white country. It is clear as day.
And Roland, really important point. Charlie Kirk at only 31, the impact he had because he was one of the most successful pushers of this white Christian nationalistic idea. And so I think that's why all of his defenders are out there so strenuously denying he said anything divisive, because they know if you really go through Charlie Kirk's public record, everything he said about people of color and Black women and Muslims and gays and transgenders, if people took the time to go through all of that, and that was put out for average people to see, they'd be blown away by it. That's why his defenders are like supercharged right now. They don't want that record to be seen.
Today, you mentioned, and I mentioned as well, Vice President J.D. Vance sitting in to do his show. And listen to this man just blatantly lie, Joe. Play it.
I read a story in The Nation magazine about my dear friend, Charlie Kirk. Now, The Nation isn't a fringe blog. It's a well-funded, well-respected magazine whose publishing history goes back to the American Civil War. George Soros's Open Society Foundation funds this magazine, as does the Ford Foundation and many other wealthy titans of the American progressive movement. The writer accuses Charlie of saying, and I quote, "Black women do not have brain processing power to be taken seriously." But if you go and watch the clip, the very clip she links to, you realize he never said anything like that. He never uttered those words. He made an argument against affirmative action as a policy. He criticized a specific Supreme Court justice as an individual. He never said anything about Black women as a group. He made an argument for judging people of all races and backgrounds by their own individual merits.
Bullshit.
Okay, Joe, this is actually what he said.
No, Roland, that's utter bullshit.
In fact, you know, if we would have said 3 weeks ago, Blake, if we would have said that Joy Reid and Michelle Obama and Sheila Jackson Lee and Ketanji Brown Jackson were affirmative action picks, we would have been called the racist. But now they're coming out and they're saying it for us. They're coming out and they're saying, I'm only here because of affirmative action. Yeah, we know. You do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken really seriously. You had to go steal a white person's slot to go be taken somewhat seriously. Play cut 52.
But I rise today as a clear recipient of affirmative action, particularly in higher education. I may have been admitted on affirmative action, both in terms of being a woman and a woman of color.
All right, Joe. He literally said it. Not only that, Vance lied. Soros does not fund the nation. So he sat there and flat out lied.
And Roland, remind me, what's J.D. Vance's job? He's the vice president And yet he had time today to do a radio show for a former right-wing podcaster. I mean, look what they're not even rolling. They're not even subtle about it, what this White House is doing. They believe, man, the path to victory is fear, hate, and division. And that's what they're putting out there. That was Charlie Kirk literally going after 4 accomplished black women by saying they didn't have the brain power to get where they got. This is what he believed. And this is what MAGA believes. And that, again, Roland, broken record, that's why Charlie Kirk was so damn successful, why he had such a big audience.
Yeah, and not only that, you take Nick Fuentes, who's to the right of Charlie Kirk. The night of or the day after Kirk was shot and killed, Fuentes had 200,000 people watching him live. And so what you have this fervor. And so when I listen to Trump and Vance and all these people talk about, how the left, they're indoctrinating. No, and you know this very well, the indoctrination. We've had people who formerly are with Turning Point USA put out videos talking about how it was really this cult-like figure, this messianic figure, as they sort of set Kirk up as, and how they want them to follow that. And so that's what's going on here. These people are not trying to have open dialogue. And not only that, Joe, you take Trump, okay? Trump was very clear in saying he was not going to call Governor Tim Walz after those 4 folks were shot in Minnesota. 2 were killed, including former Speaker of the House and her husband. Now today he's saying, he never even heard of Melissa Hortman, and if the governor had asked him, he would have, of course, lowered the flags to have staff. I'm sorry, he's also lying. He knew about her. He knew about the shooting, but he was so arrogant that he said, 2 Democrats, a Democrat Speaker of the House shot and killed. Yeah, I don't care, but lower the flags to have staff with Charlie Kirk. Flies body on Air Force 2. Do a memorial service at the Kennedy Center. Do another one at the Arizona Cardinal Stadium. Give him the Medal of Freedom. And I'm telling you, they're going to give him a state funeral. That's what you're seeing right now. And then you got Peter Hegseth going after members of the military who said anything negative in the aftermath of his death. You've got Kirk supporters creating a database of people of every social media post, and then even Vance saying in the podcast, you call their employer. So the so-called free speech people all of a sudden are saying, if you say anything negative about Charlie Kirk after what took place last week, we're going to come after you, come after your job. I thought they hated cancel culture, Joe.
Yeah. Roland, I remember back in my right-wing radio days, I would come on every day, and there was always some story about some leftist group on a college campus that couldn't handle speech that made them uncomfortable
to say.
Roland, this is scary, and you and I are old enough, man, to remember huge figures in American history who were gunned down, struck down, military leaders, civil rights leaders. We are treating this 31-year-old podcaster, MAGA influencer, like he's Jesus Christ. So I come from the right. Why are my old colleagues and friends on the right doing this, Roland? Because the right wants a religious war. Let's just call it. They want a civil war. They want a holy war. That's why they're putting him up to be some Jesus-like martyr.
Absolutely. I mean, Glenn Beck literally came out and said he was a civil rights leader. Oh, my God, stop it. Stop it. I've seen people say, I've seen a lot of these videos, I'm leaving my church because my pastor did not mention him. This was a Christian warrior. And let's just be clear. You said it, white Christian nationalists. It's slaveholder religion. We heard a lot of this stuff during slavery, during Jim Crow, things along those lines. And this whole idea about, oh no, it was about debate. It was about, exchange of ideas. I mean, come on, let's just stop it. And so we see what's going on here. We see the games that are being played. And then what gets me, Joe, is this whole deal of, oh my God, the left, how they indoctrinated him and the accused killer going to a university. The dude was at a university for one semester, Joe. You're trying to tell me that one semester at a mostly white institution in Mormon, Utah, which is not a liberal bastion, somehow just radicalized him? I mean, it really is showing folks the hand they're trying to play.
Yeah, and I think even on top of that, Roland, I think it was like some technical school. So it wasn't some crazy liberal arts school for a semester. Look, cut through all the BS. The Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, has publicly said that America should be a white Christian country. This is what animates my former party. Roland, you know me, right? Tea Party Hellraiser. I don't come from the left. I left the Republican Party when the Republican Party became MAGA. And my fellow Democrats and folks on the left need to understand, now these people are on the right. Now this is MAGA. MAGA now are the snowflakes. MAGA, Roland, they now need their safe spaces. It's funny, but it's not funny. And you're right about J.D. Vance, man. He just flat out lied. I mean, the last 30-year history of political violence in this country, the vast majority of it is right-wing. It always has been. And they put out this lie that it's only on the left. It's not even, Roland, a both sides problem between the left and the right. There is political violence on the left, but the vast majority is on the right, and they know that, and they're lying because they're trying to inflame their base. And Roland, I hear from their base every day, and let me tell you something, they are inflamed. I mean, they are ready to march and grab their you-know-what. This is a scary time.
It is, and folks need to understand what is certainly at stake. Joe Walsh, I appreciate you joining us on the show.
History of the cross, known by their works. What's the history of the cross? 500-year history of the cross. Murder, rape, destruction, deception, enslavement, burning, terrorizing. To maintain a slavery system, you must terrorize the people 24/7. They terrorize people from Africa and America for 400 years. Constant terror, 24/7, rape, murder. In the name of Jesus. This was Christians. not Buddhists, not Hindus, Christians. Christians, in the name of Jesus, when they said Jesus cursed black people, they call them Ham, cursed them to be slaves and persecuted forever. In the name of Jesus, raped our women incessantly, pissed in our mouths, made us eat shit. And they took and tried to clean it up, not clean it up, but make it look more fashionable, I guess, by calling it chitlins. That's after slavery, of course, after so-called slavery. Because what was into it was not slavery. Look up slavery. Look up slavery. It does include murder, rape, terror. This is a Holocaust. And then now they try to downplay it. Oh, that was 40 years ago. No, it wasn't 40 years ago. I don't care if it was a million years ago. It was 40 years ago. It lasts for 400 years. As they're doing today. They took everything away from the slaves. Everything. Their name, their culture, their families, their religion, their minds, everything. Fed their children to alligators as alligator bait. And then they talk about what's going on in Gaza when they did 1,000 times worse. What's going over in Gaza now is simply just a miniature version of what they did. What they did was far worse than what's going on in Gaza. Gaza's bad. It's genocide. What they did was far worse and much longer. That's the legacy of Christianity. Murder, rape, disease. They wiped out the native population with genocide and disease. Smallpox blankets, knowing they was full with disease. Herpes, syphilis, gonorrhea from sleep with animals. So-called common cold was not common. Didn't exist here on this side of the world until they brought it here. Murder, rape. When they was raping our women, there was a cross hanging from their neck. And again, they taught black, and this was God's will. God's will. The enslavement of our people. And they continue on even today. That's the legacy of Christianity, the cross. So where's your rap sheet? Every time they arrest one of our people, your rap sheet. What's your rap sheet? How are you going to judge people for murder when you're guilty of murder beyond imagination for hundreds of years? Hundreds of years. Theft. You stole this land and murdered its people. And you crushed the native people here. When the braves would go out hunting, you would come into the camps like cowards and kill the women and smash the children's brains out on the hooves of your horses. This is the legacy of Christianity. That's the legacy of it. The question is, if instead of Columbus coming here, Dracula came here, Beelzebub, Wolfman, Frankenstein, Satan, and they all came instead of Columbus. What could they have done that Columbus and those that followed him did? Satan is the God of this world. That's the God they're serving. They have known him by their works. What are the works of Christianity? What are the works of Christianity? Where's the works of Christianity? evil, deception, mischief, bloodshedding. It goes on today. And what's going on in Gaza, just reflection and microcosm of what was done here in America for hundreds of years. Raped out women incessantly. They would even rape while they was out in the fields picking cotton. They would jump off their horse and tell them to bend over and rape them. And tell them to keep picking cotton while they was doing it. This is the kind of stuff that they would do. Make one slave defecate in the slave and slave in the mouth of another slave, and then bound it up so they couldn't spit it out for 7 days. That's a legacy of slavery. You did it all in the name of Jesus. There's a legacy of slavery. Legacy of slavery. 40 years plus. Legacy of Christianity. Legacy of the cross. That's the legacy. That's the true legacy. So whose works are those? Who are you serving? Who are you serving? The legacy of the cross. Where's your rap sheet, America? Gog? Where's your rap sheet, Magog? Britain? Where's your mayship? Where's your rap sheet? Antichrist, false Israel? What's your rap sheet? Then they colonized Africa. They're stealing from ripping off everyone. The legacy of Christianity has been ruling for over 500 years. And now, the threat of nuclear war to finish off everything. That's a legacy of Christianity in the name of your Jesus.
Talking about us packing our bags and going westward or going out there in the land. Ain't no cities, no towns, no infrastructure out there. Surely you ain't talking about that, are you? No. We ain't going back to Africa. No. This is your land. Our sweat, our tears, our blood has earned us the right to the land. What God wants you to do is come out of their ways. Come out of their pagan holidays where you should be honoring Jesus. You are out here buying bunny rabbits and inviting your children to paint eggs for some Easter hunt. Come out of her. Get the Santa Claus out of your house and a tree that is the way of the pagans. Come out of her. St. Valentine's Day. What the heck is that? Excuse me. Come out of her name. Come out of her religion. Come out of her culture. Come out of her way of life. Come out of her educational system.
Back to their people. When they was put off on the shores of North America. And this ship, Jesus, that John Hawkins brought our best hero. They stood and stared at it disappearing in the whole rhythm, crying, wanting to return. With their hands stretched out towards that ship and tied in chains themselves bound together. And when they was put off on this memorable shows, they stood there staring at that ship that brought them to a strange land and a strange people who could not speak either one's language. Now they have to live in a strange country and a strange people who had proven to them every mile from their native land that they were going to be the worst enemies that they ever lived with. They were going to be the people that would destroy them. They soon discovered that on this ship that they were being brought here on. I don't know how we should say anything in the name of Jesus of good for us when this ship was named Jesus. This is how that we have always been deceived by the white man, trying to use Jesus, the name Jesus, to lull us off in a mental sleep, thinking that we are on our way to heaven. This is terrible. My beloved brothers and sisters, this is very hard for us to even to accept today. Imagine our parents standing crying to return to their native land and people, and you here today crying to stay with the very enemy that brought our fathers in subjection to their will. You and I, turning your face from your own native land and turning it back towards our own prison house and our own enemies who have destroyed us and seeks to further destroy us. How do you feel? How do you feel? Not wanting to return to your people. They are trying to make love with the very people that destroyed you and your parents. How do you feel? Acting such. And even today, they are beating and shooting you down throughout the country. There is no justice here for you and me. Why should not you want to be separated and be returned to your own? I ask you that question. Think over your parents on the eastern shore of North America, crying and praying to God to be returned to their own 400 years ago. How would they like, or you like to see them rise up in the judgment condemning you for being such fools as now want to live in the land that absolutely enslaved them and killed them and beat them for 300 long years here. They would condemn you as being fools for not wanting to be separated and go to your own, build up a nation for yourself after the white man say you were free. Remember that.
ain't talking about us packing our bags and going westward or going out there in the land. Ain't no cities, no towns, no infrastructure out there. Surely you ain't talking about that, are you? No. We ain't going back to Africa. No. This is your land. Our sweat, our tears, our blood has earned us the right to the land. What God wants you to do is come out of their ways. Come out of their pagan holidays where you should be honoring Jesus. You are out here buying bunny rabbits and inviting your children to paint eggs for some Easter hunt. Come out of her. Get the Santa Claus out of your house and a tree that is the way of the pagans. Come out of her. St. Valentine's Day. What the heck is that? Excuse me. Come out of her name. Come out of her religion. Come out of her culture. Come out of her way of life. Come out of her educational system.
Put back to their people. When they was put off on the shores of North America. And this ship, Jesus, that John Hawkins brought our best hero. They stood and stared at it disappearing in the horizon, crying, wanting to return. With their hands stretched out towards that ship and tied in chains themselves bound together. And when they was put off on this memorable shows, they stood there staring at that ship that brought them to a strange land and a strange people who could not speak either one's language. Now they have to live in a strange country and a strange people who had proven to them every mile from their native land that they were going to be the worst enemies that they ever lived with. They were going to be the people that would destroy them. They soon discovered that on this ship that they were being brought here on. I don't know how we should say anything in the name of Jesus of good for us when this ship was named Jesus. This is how that we have always been deceived by the white man, trying to use Jesus, the name Jesus, to lull us off in a mental sleep, thinking that we are on our way to heaven. This is terrible. My beloved brothers and sisters, this is very hard for us to even to accept today. Imagine our parents standing crying to return to their native land and people, and you here today crying to stay with the very enemy that brought our fathers in subjection to their will. You are now turning your face from your own native land and turning it back towards our own prison house and our own enemies who have destroyed us and seeks to further destroy us. How do you feel? How do you feel? Not wanting to return to your people. They are trying to make love with the very people that destroyed you and your parents. How do you feel acting such? And even today, they are beating and shooting you down throughout the country. There is no justice here for you and me. Why should not you want to be separated and be returned to your own? I ask you that question. Think over your parents on the eastern shore of North America, crying and praying to God to be returned to their own 400 years ago. How would they like, or you like to see them rise up in the judgment condemning you for being such fools as now want to live in the land that absolutely enslaved them and killed them and beat them for 300 long years here. They would condemn you as being fools for not wanting to be separated and go to your own, build up a nation for yourself after the white man said you were free. Remember that.
Assalamu alaikum, sisters and brothers. Sulman Rahim here, Veteran of Covenant. Okay, brothers and sisters, it's been a year now, and we're finally home after 40 years in Arabia. I'm reporting to you from Arabia. Finally home after 40 years. Right? And so we've been here a year now. And there was an agreement made. A former slave master, he said, we had a choice. Stay here or leave. Right? So we chose our inheritance, Arabia. So we left. And half the original people decided they wanted to give up their inheritance and traded for a place in America in reconciliation with their former slave master. That's their choice. They chose, said, we don't want to go over to Arabia. We don't go over there sand and all that stuff. We want to stay here in America. We've been here all our lives, been here 40 years, born here, right? And we can make peace with our slave master. Okay, so they decided to stay. And so after a year, right, we get reports of how things are going over there. And it doesn't sound too good. How things are going over in America with their reparations. Because they was given, they got 6 states, I believe. Yeah, see? Yeah. Yeah, they got those 6 states right there. That's what Farracon told them. They was listening to Farracon. Farracon promised them, they stay there, 6 states, right? Had their own land. And they can make reconciliation with the former slave master. They're not devils. They're not devils. They're human beings. They just had a rough, they were just, did some things wrong, but now they're going to make amends and make reparations. So 6 states, and in addition to that, they gave everybody $1 million. Everybody stayed $1 million. Okay? Say, thank you, Farracon. They're so happy. Thank you, Farracon. Thank you, Farracon. Man, you got 6 states. That's what you promised us. We got 6 states. They're thanking you. Thank you, Farracon. Right? And this was a year ago. They got the 6 states. Thank you, Farracon. Right? Everybody got $1 million. Everybody $1 million. And they're rejoicing. Oh man, they're so happy. Hey, we made it. We got America, man. We got reconciliation for a master. We got 6 states. Everybody got $1 million. We're all rich. That was a year ago when we left. Okay, so we're in Arabia. They're still back there in America. And now we're getting reports a year later. This was the way it was a year ago, man. They were so happy. They were so happy. Right? And now we get reports of what's going on right now. Let's see. Oops, it says a power failure. Great power failure in those 6 states. Power failure. And it's just those 6 states. Right? So, and now they have big and massive, they came asking to turn the power. Well, why can't they do it? Oh, Farracon didn't train anybody. He was telling you about 6 states, he never prepared you for them. So nobody knows how to do it. How to turn the power grid back on. So now he's begging, man, master, can you come and turn this thing back on for us? I mean, you would think that if he told them 6 states and promised them that he would have prepared them for it, right? Their schools and education, whatever they needed for that. But I guess they didn't, because they said over there now he's begging the former master to come and turn the power back on. And then what? I mean, this is all that's happening now. I mean, I'm getting these imports in now. A year later, it's like they're coming in every hour. Power grid failure, right? Then say, oops, crop failure. All of a sudden, there's no. They say, they looked at the farmers when they done it. Farmers said, oh. So then they had master, what's happening here? How come you know, right? Our crop. They found that the land they gave them wasn't that fertile. A year later, nothing's growing. Crop failure. And now they master, what's happening here? Right? And then, I mean, all these things, every hour back's coming in, right? And then they look, you know, and they had, you know, a year ago, they had plenty of food on the shelves, right? And now, they look there now, and all the food's gone. It's gone. And she said, what am I going to do here? Food's gone. The house is empty. So he said, Master, we need some food. Well, how come you can't produce your own food? I mean, you want your own country. You got your own states. That's your country. Then you run it. What are you calling us for? Right? And so they've been praying. And then, oops, no fuel. There's Master, no fuel there. Well, you got to buy your fuel. You got to produce your own fuel. What you calling us for? You got your own 6 states now. What you calling us for? Go and get some fuel. You got money, right? You got your own states. So you got to get your own. What you calling us for? You said you wanted your own, so now you got it. And you got your reparations, so we don't owe you anything anymore. We don't owe you anything anymore, so what you calling us for? We don't owe you anything. You said you agreed to 6 states and $1 million per person. You took that instead of your inheritance, what you call the Abrahamic Covenant, Arabia. You know, your brothers and sisters, they left, they took that was offered to them, they took it. And you said, no, I want this instead. So now you got it. So what you calling us for? Oh, no communications. Oh, man. No communications, right? No medical facilities. So what's going on, Master? Wait a minute, hold on. That's you. What you calling us for? That's yours. You got to handle that stuff. You want us to handle it for you? You want independence, now you have it. I mean, wow, this stuff was coming every hour, man. Instead, like a year, they was celebrating. And now they crying and begging the Master, hey, we got all these problems here. I said, wait a minute, that's yours. Where'd you come about your problems? You have to work those out. Right? No transportation, I mean, no planes, no nowhere. We don't know about fly the planes and drive the trucks and the boats and stuff and to go and get this stuff. Well, what you done that for? You wanted this, you got it. So go ahead and train your own pilots, build your own planes, build your own boats and right? You see what I'm saying? Transportation, build your own trucks. What you calling for? Yeah, Master, you said you wanted 6 states, you got it. You want $1 million per person. That was your reparations. So then if you didn't pay people to take care of this, how's that our problem? You're independent now. You're really free now. Oops, no fuel, the gas station's empty. I can't drive, eh? And no gas. Man, wow. All this stuff happened like for a year. They thought that everything was great, and all of a sudden everything ran out. So I guess what happened? Everything was there when they got it, and then it ran out. They had to, except them replace the fuel, to get the farms going. So they was left with that stuff. The factory was full. I mean, warehouses full. Then you had to keep they thought that was just going to, I guess they thought it was just going to be there, just by itself. They didn't prepare for it. See? And they ain't trained any engineers and scientists and architects and stuff. They ain't, business, they didn't train anybody. So Farracon, he told you he's going to get this for you, but he didn't prepare you for it. He didn't get anybody to handle this stuff. So what was that all about? So now he asked the master, hey, don't call on me. You was here, you had it when you was here with me. You said you want independence, you wanted reparations, so you gave it to you. Well, call on your brothers over there. They left, they handled their own business. You said you want to stay here. Right? See? You don't have any professionals or technicians, scientists, doctors, none of that. See? I mean, that's what, because I mean, if you're going to set reparation, you should be preparing for that, right? So if he was telling you about reparation, you should be preparing for it. If he said God said that's what he's going to get you, so if God told him he's going to get that for you, then he should, like when God told Noah there was a flood coming, to only build an ark, so he started building an ark. And so you should start preparing for the 6 states and the reparations, but apparently you didn't. And so now, it does say, look, hold it. We want total separation. I mean, look, we don't want you to call us no more. We don't want you to call us no more. Because you're wearing us. You want your own country. You got your own land. Right? You got money, $1 million, all this stuff, right? And so now we got to protect your money and everything too? No, you have to create your own money. You have to do all these things, your own wealth, not ours. Right? So we're going to cut you off from that too. It's all economics. So they go and they tell all the people all the white folks, right? Because all the black folks, and all the black folks is either in Arabia or in those 6 states. That's the solution. You had to be one way or the other. There couldn't be no integration, all that kind of stuff. That's the deal. You just said one or the other. So all the black folks are there, ain't no integration, all that kind of stuff, right? Black folks are there, one or the other, so they're there. So he said, okay, right? So they just say, we're going to take our money because we don't know what y'all doing over here. You have your own money, you have your own wealth. So what they do is they tell all the white folks, say, protect your money, right? Transfer your money into gold. Transfer all your dollars into gold. Okay. Now remember, they gave everybody $1 million a piece. So everybody got $1 million a piece, right? And so they transfer it to gold. And then what happens is that what they do is they start just printing money. White folks just start printing money. You understand what that means? That's inflation. Right? Because if you got $1 million of gold, a million ounces of gold, say a million ounces of gold, understand this, and you got 1 million certificates, then you say each certificate is worth 1 ounce. If you got 1 million ounces, each certificate is worth 1 ounce. Understand that? If you got 1 million ounces of gold, and you got 1 million certificates, each one of those certificates is worth 1 million. If you want to say trade with the certificates, each one of the certificates is worth 1 ounce of gold. Right? But if you take and print, you say you got 1 million ounces of gold, and you got 1 million certificates, each one. But say you print twice as many certificates, you got 2 million. Well, then each certificate is only worth 50 cents now, because you got to connect that to the gold. Well, you print 4 times, then each one is worth a quarter. So the more you print, the less they worth, because those certificates has to equal what the gold is. You understand? So the more you print money, the less, right? The less they're worth. So if you print twice as much money, right, there's less gold. You understand? So $1 is worth 1 ounce of gold, which that's right. Then if you print double that amount of dollars, then each one's worth half an ounce. You understand? That's what printing money without increasing their wealth does. That's inflation. So what happens is they keep printing. They get down to where $100 is worth a penny. But see, that doesn't affect their people. They told to protect their money because they transfer their money to gold. So gold still has its value. It's just the dollars don't. It still got the same amount of gold. But the dollars, they get down to a penny. So you can't buy it. You had $1 million, now your $1 million worth of $5. That's all it's worth. $1 million. Hardly worth anything. Hey, that's our money. You gotta have your own money, you control your own wealth. You can't keep coming at us what you're doing. And you think they wouldn't do that? Yeah, you've been a Gaza lately? You see what happened to the trees they made with the so-called natives? Kept telling you had a forked tongue because they kept making trees with them, then they broke the trees. And took their land and genocide everything else. But no, they wouldn't do that to you. See? Because now you have, your money's worth nothing. They haven't lost anything. Because once that money's worthless, it's no good, right? Then you burn it up, throw it away, it's worth nothing. The people still got gold. And even if they take it, hold on to money, hope to increase again, they're just using another different certificate, using another form of money. So it's still worth nothing. That $1 million you had, you were so happy with it, now it's probably worth maybe $1. So you can't buy anything with $1. Plus the economy's collapsed because everything is failing, and you don't know how to repair it. You don't know how to build communications. You don't know how to do any of this stuff. You're not an engineer, build a house. You don't know how to do anything because Farracon didn't. Right? He didn't prepare you. He told you he'll give you 6 days. He told you, listen to me, right? So now you're broke, and your economy is gone. You have no food, no electricity, no power, anything, right? It's not their fault. They gave you what you asked for. You saw your inheritance for that. And then they closed the border. Because you're going to try to get back into America now. We want to come back in, Master. No, we don't want you back in here. We sorry, we want to come in. No. That's what you chose. You stay there. They closed the border, so you can't get back in here. You can't get back in America, into what you call your land now? Swaziland or something? Farracon. Maybe call it travel land. Farracon. They met the Farracon, right? So they close the borders, you can't. Because now you're hungry and everything else, your money's worthless. Oh God, come back, Master, I'll come back work for you, I'll work for Popeyes, I'll do anything you want. No, remember, now blacks, either they over in Arabia or they in that land. There are no blacks in America, in places, just in that land that you 6 days. And now you're starving, you ain't got no, your money's worthless, nothing works, and they close the border. Right? And then you see Master, he on the phone, you talking to the guy that you kept treating, help you. Hey, we finally got rid of them niggas. Finally got rid of them. Finally got rid of them. See on the phone. Yeah, it worked. We sold them no reparations. We sold them that used car. You turned the miles back and everything else, and they bought it. See? They could have had a BMW. They could have had a Lamborghini. They sold that for a BMW that looked good. Damn thing didn't work. And now they're starving, living in tents. Praying. So what? Then what next? What we gonna do, Farracon? What we gonna do, Farracon? You told us to take reparations, so we did. But they gave us everything we asked for. What we gonna do, Farracon? What we gonna do? Pray, 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 pray. That's his answer. Pray, pray, pray. That's your reparations. Like Elijah Muhammad said, he had a big picture. We leaving, and blacks staying on the shore, the ones stay behind, and they was whooping their ass. Right? Because they thought you think they want to give you some land and take care of you? You think they want to do that? And go bankrupt, give everybody $1 million? How much that is? If it's 17 million, if it's 17 million times 17 million times a million is like $17 trillion, I think, something like that there. And they're going to do all that for you. They want to get rid of you. So now they've succeeded. Because they closed the border. And what you going to do? You want to fight to come out? They closed the border. They got the military around there. They finally got rid of you. No more black problem, no more Negro problem anymore. One group's out of here, another group that's here, they're gone, and our hands are clean. We gave them what they wanted. Well, anything. Okay. God honors contracts. Remember he honored the contract with Jacob. Esau sold his birthright for a bowl of soup to Jacob, when it was Esau's inheritance, and God honored it. Okay, Jacob, it's yours. You're the one. And that's the deal. Because he ain't your friend. Farracon ain't your friend. Pray, pray, pray. That's the answer. And this homeland you was promised, you rejected it. So now you got what you asked for. So if they gave you reparations today or tomorrow, how would that scenario not play out like that? Well, they say, okay, you got it. Tell me how the scenario wouldn't play out like that. And tell me why they wouldn't do it. They love you so much, they're going to say, okay, we're going to take care of them. I mean, why should they go out their way to take care of you when you was right here? You was working at Popeyes and living in the get-up on Section 8, all that stuff right here with they. Because they're trying to get rid of that stuff right now. Trump's trying to get all that stuff right now. Because they're closing on you, you don't realize it. Anyway, that's just, that's what's happening over in America. Wow. Of course, come here. Disaster over there. And, I just got a call. Oh, wait, hold it. Really? You serious? Our ambassador just got a call from I don't know what they call them. They call it Conland or something. I forgot what it's some name they call it right there. That 6th day. They begged us to come and help. Can they come over here? Can we come and get them? Really? Can we come and get them and bring them? Oh no. Now he went and asked Master Farracon Muhammad, right? He said, no, hell no. We ain't going to get them. And I agree with that. Yeah, the Master said he said, let's call him, and he passed the word to Master Farracon Muhammad. Master Farracon said, send him back. And said, no, we can't come and get you. You chose, you made your choice, live with it. Or die, whatever the situation is. Wow. I can't believe that. They actually, right, sent a message over. I don't know how they did. I don't have any communication with it. Somehow they got the information over to him. Said, would we please come and get him? Nope. Said, no, tell him no. And don't waste time communicating with us anymore. You got your land, you got your reparations, you got your money, you got Farracon as your leader. Yeah, tell him, talk to him, let him straighten out for you. He didn't want to sell you the idea. He was a salesman. So you on that idea of reparations. We told you. Right? Suleiman, right? He was the messenger to you, told you, look, man, let's go home. You said no. You chose not to. Okay, bro, since that's a sad story. But I guess that's it. Is that it? Oh, so they might get more reports on Okay, he says that was Matthew Prophet Muhammad's final decision, and I think they closed communications off from there. So, like I said, brothers and sisters, we got those. Wow, they came in. All that came in today, man. I came in fast. After a whole year, total collapse. Now they're begging it. Somebody help them. We can't do it. Maybe Master help you. We won't do it. Assalamu alaikum. Update, brothers and sisters, got another late report in that they said, well, if you want to come and get us, we at least send them some food. They begged, said, please send them some food. Master Muhammad said, we got to send them a damn thing, nothing, zero. He said, please just send some food. No, I just got that in. He says, if you can't come and get us, please send some food. He says, no. He refused. That's what, boy, I just got the information from the ambassador. He said, they sent that, and he's read to me. He says, no. He said, please, just please send us some food. He said, no way. You made your choice, case closed. Okay, just got that in, brothers and sisters. Assalamu alaikum.